That's some great lists.
Yeah, yeah, it looks good.
How are you? How are you doing this evening, sir?
I'm doing great. We survived all the twisters. I heard you survived the twisters, although yours were more on screens, but it was IMAX, so it's about the same, right?
Yeah, it was pretty thrilling. I saw the Twisters movie last night on IMAX. We had that screening, and I got to tell you, it's it's pretty much a perfect summer disaster film from Hollywood.
Oh, cool.
I really recommend it, and I think I'm gonna do like a deeper cut of the film because just looking back at it, there's some things that I wanted to talk about that I didn't do
Hmm.
it in my not my non spoiler reaction one. But look at people are coming in, wonderful. Vote. What are your favorite movies this year? All that good stuff. Um, right now, we are going to be bringing in our panel very soon. Not right now. D the movie man's here. Lily's getting here. Robert Meyer Burnett is here. Now,
Ooh.
we have a news flash. So before we get to our countdown, we're gonna hit a little news. Can we do that? Can we do
Yes,
that?
we can.
Here we go. The Latino Slant presents Slant News Flash. Entertainment stories from around the world. Robert Meyer Burnett and Mike Baldwin launch Imagination Connoisseurs Media Unlimited debut project True Noir exclusive on Variety.
Boom.
Boom! That's how we
Man.
do it here on the Latino Slant.
And he got clean shaven for it too. Look at
In
that.
fact, when we booked him, that's when Robert Meyer Burnett got the Variety episode article.
Ooh,
It's
man.
because they knew. Oh, he's on the Slant this week.
What?
Que la. Producer Robert Burnett and marketing executive Mike Baldwin have launched Imagination Connoisseur Media Unlimited, a production company for original genre content for dedicated fandoms. True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak, is a 6.5 hour audio drama based on the Max Allan Collins novel True Detective. The 10-episode series is set in Chicago in 1932, Fletcher, and
Wow.
follows the murder of the city's mayor while attending a Franklin High School campaign rally in Miami, Florida. Okay, this particular edition of what they're doing, this premiere one, features a cast of over 25 voice actors, including Anthony LaPaglia, Katie Sackhoff, tons of others. You got the score by Alexander Bornstein. But listen, this is great news. This is hot news, and so hot. We're just going to bring in the man himself, Robert Meyer Burnett. Congratulations, sir.
What?
Well, first of all, Paulie Fletcher, it's great to be here.
Yeah.
It's always good to come be a Slantino on the Slant.
Orale.
So yeah, and
Yeah. Look at
yeah,
this.
this is thanks for bringing this up. It's a project. It's sort of interesting. I met Max Allan Collins wrote the graphic novel that the movie Road to Perdition was based on.
Whoa.
So the Tom Hanks movie that was directed by Sam Mendes. So he's been writing books. He used to write Batman comics for DC back in the 80s.
Oh my God.
And
Wow.
it turns out I met him because he watched my Let's Get Physical Media YouTube show. He's a huge
Yeah.
physical media collector. I didn't know him. And we started talking last August.
Mhm.
And Mike Baldwin and I have been working together for a while. And it was Mike's idea to maybe do something together. And Max had suggested this series of books he's written. It's a 19 novels deep. And it's about this detective named Nathan Heller, who was he was a crooked cop in Chicago in the late 20s and early 30s. And after a tragic shooting, he decided to become a private investigator. And the crux of the books, the gimmick is Nathan Heller gets involved with real life mysteries that were sort of unsolved or questionable in terms of what actually happened. So all the mysteries, all the characters in the books are real, but Nathan Heller is fictional. So,
Cool.
so in this story takes place after the movie The Untouchables, where Al Capone was sent to prison on a tax beef. And this is a real story where the mayor of Chicago, Anton Cermak, was trying to fight the mobs, the Chicago mobs, the crime. And it was right at the end of Prohibition and a few years into the Great Depression. And what ended up happening is he went to Miami to meet with FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, before he became president. And he was shot in Miami. This is a true story. This actually happened. Now, there is some question as to whether the assassin, Giuseppe Zangara, was actually he maintains he was trying to kill the president. But a lot of people think that he was sent by Frank Nitti to assassinate Cermak and succeeded, but he was just pretending he was going to kill the president. So the story is all about Nathan Heller getting involved in that, and he actually gets hired by Al Capone to protect Cermak from getting shot, and things go awry. And the book is so great. And I said to Max, I go, it's such a great story. There's so many twists and turns and different characters. It was like a Coen Brothers movie. It's like No Country for Old Men or Miller's Crossing. And so when I said, can we do it as an audio drama? And I hired my producing partner, Christine Sheeks, and she's a casting director. She casts like Boogie Nights. She cast Coen Brothers movies.
Wow.
And I said to her, I want to do an audio drama, but I want it to sound like it's a movie, but without the pictures. So it's going to be mixed in 5.1 and Dolby Atmos. And then I said, what I want to do is cast it like it's a movie or a great streaming series.
Sure.
And so I said, the first person I said to her, I really want to get Anthony LaPaglia to play Al Capone, because he played Al Capone in Road to Perdition, but they cut him out. It was only one scene. And I love that scene. So we started going to actors, and Max adapted his own book into 10 chapters. So there's 10 scripts, and the scripts are so good. The actors we went to, they read the scripts and they're like, I'm in.
Wow.
Like Katie Sackhoff. I love Katie Sackhoff, but people know her from Galactica and Mandalorian, but I love her. I loved her in Longmire.
She was great in Longmire.
She's great in Longmire. And so she agreed to come on and do it. And first of all, she is a delightful human being. And she wanted this is the great part about these actors. She wanted to talk to me before we recorded and wanted to hear what I thought of this character. She's playing our main character's fiance. And she works at City Hall. For that time, she's a really strong female presence. And there were other actors, like I'd work with Bill Sadler, who played Sloan on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, but he'd been in Shawshank Redemption. He was Death in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. And I worked with him in The Hills Run Red, a movie I produced back in 2008. And he came on board. And Jesse Spencer, who's on House and Chicago Fire, plays Elliot Ness. And we just, anybody I went after, I got Vincent Pastore, Big Pussy Bumpensero from The Sopranos. He plays Frank Nitti's second in command.
So when does this debut? What's the next step? When can we hear something?
So the Kickstarter. So here's what's really interesting.
Uh-huh.
We raised money to produce this on our own, and it's a full SAG production, and all the actors are SAG, and I think we've got 25 SAG actors.
Yep.
So we've been producing this since April, and we have to design all the environments sound like you're in a real place. So it's mixed like a movie. So what we started,
radio drama, full effects, everything.
Yeah, but it's more than it's more like it's more like excuse me, it's more like a movie. So yeah, it's more like a movie.
Wow, the whole mix, everything.
Yeah, so what I had said, like, I would like to have a Los Angeles premiere in a movie theater. So you go into a movie theater, but we turn the lights off and make it pitch black.
That's so
and
cool.
All you can see is the exit signs. And I think I'm going to do that, maybe for YouTube or something.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Why
and
not?
That's even rent out an IMAX theater with a big thunderous sound system.
Ooh.
And just turn off all. And that's, so I think I'm going to do that. But so what happened is, what we decided to do is, instead of doing a Kickstarter to pay for the project, our Kickstarter is to buy the finished product in whatever format you want it in. You can buy it as a digital download.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy it on a Blu-ray with multiple mixes and a lot of video pieces. We've got documentary stuff. Or you can buy it if we're going to launch deeper into an 11 vinyl box set with all 10 episodes on vinyl, each episode on one vinyl, and then the soundtrack album.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a full-on soundtrack that's being recorded by Bornstein, where he's actually bringing in real horn players because it's a jazzy score. So we've got real sax players and real trumpet players and things.
Musicians. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so you can get that, and then you can get the leather-bound script if you want it. So the Kickstarter went live right now. It's on Kickstarter, True Noir. Just look it up if you want to support it, and you can support the project.
We'll be putting the link throughout the countdown in the channel.
And
then
one of the
Latino Slant is going to we will donate as well.
One of the cool things about this project that I've really enjoyed is the actors are so good, and the way I recorded it was I worked on a Netflix animated series called Dota Dragon's Blood.
That's right.
And the thing is, when you record an actor in a booth, like for animation, they're alone for the most part. But like with certain anime shows, what I wanted to do was get as many actors as I could in a room to read together. So even when there's an actor and I couldn't get the other actor that's reading opposite him, I brought in this incredibly talented actor named Corey Landis to read opposite our actors. So I'm getting real performances, because for me, it lives and dies. Like what we would do is we wouldn't do one line at a time. We would run 13 pages. We would run the whole scene almost like theater and record it.
I love
and
it.
the thing that's blown me away is the performances are incredible. I mean, people like Adam Arkin came in and just, blew me away.
What?
Yeah, I mean, Adam Arkin,
He's got a great voice.
He's got a great voice. And Adam Arkin, he,
Yeah.
he's been in so many things. He's directing now. He called us. The crazy thing.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Dude, Martin Sheen called us. And I'm like, there's narration in this. I've been telling everybody I want Martin Sheen's narration from Apocalypse Now.
Well, you know what I've always wanted Martin to do, and he's, he could still do the older version of him, is to play Cesar Chavez.
Oh, that's the kind of, that would be great.
I mean, he was he marched with Cesar for decades, and I was never happy with that film that came out about 15 years ago, whatever. It was okay, but I was like, why isn't Martin being like an older Caesar? Like, we need to do an older Caesar, and then when he passes away. But that was such a mark. That was, it's still a big hole.
Yeah.
But Martin Sheen, man. I mean, yeah.
So I mean, hopefully here's my dream for this project. So the books take place from the early 30s to the late 60s, and I want to do 4 audio dramas leading up to the 1960s, and then I want to take the 3 books in the 60s and do them as a streaming series, a live action streaming series set in the 60s, so it would look like a cross between Mad Men, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and whatever your favorite detective story is. The way they had recreated the period.
Love the periods. Yeah,
and
the James, James Elroy.
Yeah, exactly. LA Confidential, that kind of thing.
My father did research for years. Worked for Elroy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My dad's got stories.
Oh, I can only imagine. But
they're both nuts.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we want to do. And and the thing is, it's so hard to get something made, but having the audio drama with the actors, I mean, all the actors are like, if you were watching the movie version of this, it'd be a great cast.
Well, congratulations again, RMB. We'll be announcing throughout, and I'm so happy for you, my friend. And let's say hello to a couple people before we bring in our guests, and then we'll start talking about movies. I think it's an underrated year. I think people are already saying, no to this year. And it's really not fair to a lot of wonderful work that's going out there. So don't forget to support RMB's True Noir. John the Beard, who's a member of the channel, it's a Frank Darabont movie. Okay. Shawshank or which one? So John, let us know again. I was watching a few film noirs this past weekend: Double Indemnity, Maltese Falcon, The
Oh.
Wrong Man, and Touch of Evil, Love Noir, and Neo Noir.
Me too.
You know, there is a great neo noir Latino film from 1991 or two, Fletcher. We had in our best films, Chicano films, and it stars Robert Beltran and Julie Carmen. Neo noir set in East LA, and it's produced by Roger Corman.
Yeah.
R&B.
What a cast! That I love Julie Carmen.
Yeah, it was great. It, like, you know, basically they plot to kill her bartender owner husband, who's a total slob. Femme fatale. Shut up and take my money, R&B. There you go, Daryl.
Well, you can go support the Kickstarter right now.
Yes, do it right now. X-Wing is here. Acolyte may have finally closed the book on Star Wars today. Hope you guys are well. Been enjoying your late night streams, R&B.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
I have to tell you, I stopped watching after episode 3, so I couldn't take it. Sorry, R&B. I could not take it, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I
was
just like, what's I know Fletcher's like, you're killing your algorithm.
Yeah, that's it. It's the algorithm, the money.
Anyways, hello, what's going on? And Mike has bad knees. It's an okay year. I think it's much better than last. Ooh, that's a statement. Okay, let's bring in our good buddy. He's new to the Slant. He's been on a couple times. I'm loving what he's doing on his channel. He's got great musical movie taste. It's D the Movie Man. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you?
Well, R&B, this is D.
How are you, man?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
So thank you for coming on last minute. As you know, struggles. You're substituting for struggle.
Yes.
And unfortunately, our good friend Struggle is still without power. I believe without, like, she got hit hard.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
She's struggling.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. You're right. Hey, you're not wrong. So D, thanks for coming on in here, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
I saw that you saw Kill recently.
I did, and I enjoyed it immensely. Yes. Very, very grateful. And I even say that in the review, but just in general, I just feel like foreign cinema just has something that always manages to, I don't know, thrill me, excite me, just give me a different perspective that I don't get from, I'll just say, other films. So definitely, didn't really know what to expect, but definitely walked in with middling expectations and walked out thrilled. So yeah,
wonderful. It's in there for me as well. So why don't we do this? Why don't we hit really quickly our 10 through 5, and then we can include Robert, because Robert gave me his 5. I didn't know what order you wanted, so I just
I didn't really have an order.
Right. And let me bring up our featured article that we put up today at the latinoslant.com. Here is our list. Just like that, the first half of 2024 is in our rear view mirror. Many movies were released within the first 6 months, and the following list includes Slant film critics Rosa Parra and Alfredo's favorites. We would love to hear your thoughts, and if we share any films. Okay, here's some honorable mentions, guys. Before we get into anything, they range from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes to The Fall Guy. I noticed in all 3 of ours here, Problemista and A Quiet Place Day One were all on our list. Were you guys able to see any of those films?
I saw A Quiet Place Day One. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, very entertaining. It was very entertaining.
Really well done.
Just on a general note, what is your feeling of the first 6 months of this year, Robert?
I'll tell you, I think there's been a lot of really interesting movies that have come out this year. It wasn't on my list, but there's a French film called The Beast that came out that it's wild. It's like, it's science fiction. It's a love story, kind of. It's wild, but I think, I really like movies like Challengers. I thought that was quite good. I didn't put it on my list, but I thought it was really good. I mean, Luca is a great director, and I think there's been a lot of really interesting. Look, it was on my list. I liked Alex Garland's Civil War quite a bit. Like, people thought, I think they thought they were going to get some more of a war movie, but this was a much more contemplative film about the press, reporters, and I really liked him. I'm a huge Alex Garland fan. And then we get big budget. Like, I love Dune 2, and I loved a lot of people. I don't know why it didn't do well at the box office. I really love Furiosa. Of course, I'm a fan of George Miller, but I mean, he's the only guy making movies like that, flawed as though they may be sometimes.
Movieman, what are your general thoughts on the first 6 months of this year?
So yes, for me, it's a little bit. It's a mixed experience for me, and I think partly because I literally started the first month of the year crossing something off my bucket list, which was attending the Sundance Film Festival in person.
It's great,
and with that experience, and with the films I had the opportunity to see, I think that probably set some different expectations, and I think just maybe having that that comparison. I understand there are all kinds of films that were going to come out after the fact, but I just think because I started off with that, to kind of look forward to, and seeing all these different forms of storytelling and narrative, and directors, and all this. I just think that maybe since then, it's probably added to my feeling of maybe discontent, and maybe just a little bit of frustration regarding what comes out. That's not a complete dismissal of what's come out, but I just think I see more and more the disparity between, independent filmmaking, the stories that get told, and the type of films that we see versus mainstream. And sometimes some things that get lost in translation, the bigger you go and the bigger these studios get and the type of releases we see. Although there were some good things, it's just, I feel like because I started off that way and kind of been on the film festival track, I'm a little ill at ease with what I've seen. I'm not 100%.
It's great insight, man. That's really,
I would agree with that, actually.
That's a great insight. Darth Plato's been a member of both our channels for such a long time.
Forever.
Hey, gang. Hey, Polly. Great looking panel. Is that R&B I see?
No.
Happy birthday, Rob. It's not his birthday.
That joke is it is apparently, according to
apparently it is. And
every day.
Go with the joke.
Every time
I'm
you
happy
scream
to celebrate it. Yeah, I'm happy to do it.
Ray J, what's up, Ray J? Probably looking sharp as ever, but no hat. I rarely do a jacket and a hat at the same time. But if you guys want a jacket with a hat right now, hit the one, I guess, yes, in the chat, and I'll put a hat on. But you guys got to work for it. You guys got to work for it. Let's do 10. Let's do 10 really quick. Let's just hit the 10 real quick. Here we go. All right. So from our list of critics, our number 10, Rosa Parra had Thelma. Alfredo Galindo had Horizon, the American Saga, and I had The Fall Guy. What was your number 10, D Movieman?
Yes. So my number 10 is Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot, directed by Joshua Weigel. This was a shocker for me. My friend was the one who told me about this film, and I was kind of on the fence about it. I appreciated that it was a true life story and involved adoption and faith and all those things. But given that I've seen a lot of different, and not that it was necessarily the faith-based aspect of it that was an issue. It's just that I've seen a lot of films that are faith-based that get a little choppy when it comes to the storytelling aspect of it, or just the execution of certain things, or just the well-roundedness of the experience of faith and all the different layers to that experience. So I felt like going in, I was kind of like, okay, this is, I appreciate the message, but I'm sure it'll just kind of be like, maybe might feel like more of a Lifetime thing. So I was shocked by how effective it was, by how poignant it was, how it laid me. And I always talk about how I get a little put off when films purport to be, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be inspired. I always get put off by those things because a lot of times it's giving you a false sense of hope, and a lot of times the films don't live up to that. But that film really spoke to not only faith, but truly speaking just to the experience of children and what it is to really love and persevere and really push forward in the pursuit of family and love, and allowing children who have had disruptive backgrounds, allowing them to see what love really means and what community means. And yeah, just a lot of things I wasn't expecting. So that actually was a shocker, but it ended up on my top 10. Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good stuff. I haven't seen it yet. I know our own Rosa Parra really enjoyed it. My number 10 really quickly was The Fall Guy. Listen, I saw it twice. The second time I took my mother. We had a great time. Again, I'm disappointed that it didn't do great in the theaters at the time. I don't know why. Maybe it was a little too in-house, wink wink type of to the movie industry, R&B. But I thought it was really charming.
I only gave you 5. I didn't realize I should have given you 10. I apologize. But if I gave you 10, this would be on it, because I really enjoyed this movie. I thought to me, I mean, I don't think it should have cost 130 or 40 million dollars. To me, this was like, if they made this movie in the 80s, it probably would be considered a classic now, like Romancing the Stone or something.
Yeah.
I mean, at that level.
Yeah.
When I think of, because Romancing the Stone was a action adventure romance, but it was still considered good. It made a lot of money. Fall Guy was, I thought, a delightful studio movie. I thought that Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling were a very winning couple. It was beautifully shot, great sequences, a lot of fun. And I honestly think the movie didn't work because they should have changed the title.
Really?
Yeah, I think if they had a different title, The Fall Guy, I understand it's a double entendre and it's actually what he is, but what a fall guy means, no one remembers the 80s. Before anybody gets mad at me, I get some people do. but the Fall Guy literally has no pop culture footprint, right, in our world. So they could have called it anything.
Yeah, they might as well call it the $6 million man.
Yeah, they might have. They absolutely.
In Latin America, the name sounds better. It's El Especialista, the specialist.
Ooh, the specialist.
Yeah,
even that's better. Speaking of specialists, she's finally with us. She's finally coming on after a torturing journey of finishing The Acolyte. She just posted. She's a prolific Twitterer, Xer. I don't even know what they do on X, but what they're called. And also on Midnight Edge Espanol. Everyone, it's Lily. 300 mirrors.
Hey guys, I'm so sorry for being late, but yeah, it was the finale of The Acolyte and I couldn't miss it. I had to see what they were doing.
It's all good. We're actually doing 10 and 9 and 10, 10 and 9, and I know you gave me 8. So
yeah. I'm representing the normal moviegoer.
Hey,
I didn't watch enough movies that I actually enjoyed this year that were like worth me paying for it or sitting down and watching it. So I only had 8. And they're gonna be mostly popular. So
fair enough. Okay, so we got through our 10 really quickly. Now let's we're ready for 9. Movieman, let's start with your number 9 real quick.
Yes, my number 9 is Your Monster, directed by Caroline Lindy. That is another one I got to see at Sundance in Salt Lake back in January. And I my expectations are kind of up in the air because, and more so with Sundance because all you have is the description and a picture. You don't even have the benefit of a trailer and so on and so forth. But, I was like, okay, Melissa Barrera, I'm, pretty big fan of hers. But even with what I was familiar with, because I feel like Melissa Barrera, I was already familiar with her because of In the Heights. And of course the Scream films, it doesn't really require great acting. So I figured she was solid just based off of that first film. But it's like, okay. But I think if anything showed me how talented she is, it's this film. Because I feel like even though there is this other lead character in the film, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a one-woman show. It's like she's hilarious, she's tragic, she's like there's so many layers to that character. And I also think the horror spin was not something I was expecting. I think initially I was kind of like, I like this, but I'm sure it's going to be more like a Beauty and the Beast remix, which you can probably see some of that there. But the directions they take and the ending and all of that, I was like, I wasn't prepared for any of this. So yes, that definitely, I was like, this is probably going to be a top 10 film for me. And I can't wait for more people to see it once it's out.
So really quick with this film, when you saw it along with Rosa Parra, who went as well, it didn't have a distribution deal, and then with the kind of controversy surrounding Melissa, it was like, oh, is it going to get one? It got one. It's gonna open up in Halloween, October 25th. And what I'm seeing a lot, and thank you, D Movie Man. What I'm seeing a lot, R&B, is a lot of films mixing genres. I love that, man.
I do too.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Any interest, Lily, to see this, a kind of musical comedy horror?
Yeah, I actually am a huge fan of horror movies, and hey, anytime that I get to watch one, it's a treat for me. So this sounds interesting. I'm gonna make notes of everything that you guys are like, everybody's top 10, and then go back and watch everything. But yeah, I'm interested to see this, and I like her. She's a good actress.
So let's go back to our article here in regards to our critics. Our number 9 from Rosa is Young Woman in the Sea. I've heard nothing but great things about that movie, starring Daisy Ridley. Alfredo's number 9 was The Fall Guy. Mine was Civil War. And we could talk about it later. I know it's higher up, and I want to wait till we get in discussion with Rob. So why don't we just wait on that discussion on number... on that one. But what did I do? I got so many buttons going on. Let's go to number 8, and then we could start adding Lily's list. Number 8, here we go. Wow, man, the production on this show just
production.
I just gotta pat myself.
Fletcher. Just kidding.
Yeah, Fletcher. Okay, let's go with we'll do this order. Number 8, D Movie Man, Thelma, which made Rosa's list as well.
Yes, I had to go with Thelma. Again, this was one I wanted to see at Sundance, but when you don't have a badge, shows sell out really quickly. So I didn't get that opportunity. However, it circled back around. I had the chance to see it at the Atlanta Film Festival when I took a trip down there to see it. And I think it's obviously charming. It's funny. It's quirky. It obviously, is all everything you would maybe see on the surface. But I actually was shocked by how emotional it made me, only because I think it really highlights the significance, even though there's a lot of comedy. It really does highlight the significance, at least for me, of elders in your life and the role that they play, and how difficult it can be when you don't have that anymore, and then you see that play out in a story like this, and how old age can be difficult and trying, and it can have its perils and its dangers, but there can still. I thought that was a very beautiful message about how even in old age, much like the star June Squibb at 94, in her first leading role, there are still experiences in life and journeys and so much more you can have going on, even in a stage of life where things should be over. So yeah, I found myself tearing up unexpectedly, and knowing also that Josh Margolin's inspiration also came from his own grandmother, and certain lines in the film that you see at the end, her, saying, I thought that was beautiful. So yeah, had
Wow.
And it was Richard Roundtree's last performance.
Yes, which
Yeah.
also added to the emotion as well.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, man. That I thought Thelma was great.
I haven't seen it. I mean, I gotta see. Did you say 94?
94.
Yeah,
God
she was
bless her.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great
Wow.
movie.
Okay, let's go with Lily's number 8. Boy Kills World. All right, tell us about this movie.
So basically this is it's my number 8 because it seemed to me a little bit too much like Kill Bill. So this is Bill Skarsgård. Basically, his family gets murdered by Famke Janssen's character, and he ends up with this person in the woods training to get revenge on her. So it's super bloody. There's a whole bunch of martial arts in it. It's really entertaining. And when I was watching it, I was like, you know what? I really, really like this movie. But like I said, it didn't make it any higher because at the end, I was like, this reminds me a lot of something. And then I realized that it was Kill Bill. And of course, Quentin Tarantino movies. I think he's really awesome, and that's one of my favorite Quentin movies. So I was like, oh yeah, no, they probably took a lot of inspiration, but it was different enough that I'm not like, okay, it's a blatant copy of Kill Bill. And the twist, I didn't see that coming. So that gave it a couple of points too, because I was like, oh man, I totally didn't see that coming. Like, what happened? But yeah, it's definitely something if you just want to sit down, not really think about what's really going on too much. The plot is super straightforward. There's a lot of action. All of the scenes that were choreographed were super awesome. Like, you could just tell that whoever did this, I mean, you can just kind of tell with something like the Acolyte fight scenes and this, the person actually knows what they're doing. Yeah. Like, they're fighting super fast. Like, they're not giving each other enough time to like, okay, I'm going to move super slow so this guy can hit me and we can hit all of our marks. No, they're going super fast. So that's what I appreciated about it. And then it's just like, it had a little bit of comedy in there. It's a little dark comedy too.
Yeah.
So if you have a little bit of dark humor, yeah, you'll definitely enjoy this movie. It was super fun.
Anyone on the panel want to
Oh,
chime
this
in?
movie rules, by the way. I mean, it made no money and nobody went and saw it. I went and saw it at the Look Theater that's local here. It's a hoot. This movie is a hoot.
It's so good.
It's so, I mean, this movie has cult movie written all over it. When people finally get around to seeing it, when it makes it to streaming, people are going to love this movie.
I think I'm going to be that audience. Now I want to see it. I knew about the film, but whatever schedule it was, just couldn't get.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it hurt it because Bill Skarsgård's actually going to be in the Crow remake too. So I don't know if people saw that and then saw this and were like, "Ooh, yeah, I don't think so." So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely want to see it on streaming. Let's get to our film critics on our LatinoSlant.com, what they had to say. Rosa's number 8 is Monkey Man. Alfredo's number 8 is The Long Game, and mine was Kill. And
I haven't seen Kill yet.
Really? Well, we'll make it as non-spoiler as I can. I just said never has there been a revenge movie on a train done so well. Wow. From a family of terrorists to a man who makes a promise to save lives. This is the best action movie of the year. Kill was incredible. And, I took Romy. It says what it is in the first. It tells you what kind of movie it is in the first 5 minutes, and it just doesn't stop. And when this soldier, this is the only spoiler, RMB. When this soldier becomes an avenging angel, look out! Look out! I will also tell you they break some cardinal rules here in regards to characters. but that's what makes it so damn good.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is the first film that was got a North American distribution from Lionsgate from an Indian film, and so it is in a lot of theaters. It is all over the country. I highly recommend Kill. So yeah, did you want to add to that, Movie Man, or is that? Yeah, you already. Go ahead.
I have it on there, but it's another number.
Okay, all right, it's good. Okay, so let's get to, where are we? Number 7. Here we go. It's Kill. I love it when that works out. Production.
Yes. Yes.
Go for it, D Movie Man.
Yeah, no. Kill, directed by Nikhil Nagesh Bhatt. Listen, I will admit, even though I'm a foreign film fan, my forays into certain types of films just kind of depends on what I like. It basically is kind of based off of what's suggested to me or what's, someone points me towards. And so with a lot of Indian films, my experience has been limited for the most part, but I think RRR, which I absolutely loved, I feel like that was a great, I won't say introduction because I've seen some before, but it was kind of like bringing me into the here and now, and especially with this platform and YouTube and all of this. It was a great introduction to kind of bring me back into that in the place that I am now in my perspective of film. And so with Kill, like you said, I love the fact that it pulls no punches. And even in a lot of what we're used to with action, and I said this as well, but even with action is technically exciting, but depending on what you see, it can be very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and gets very bleh after a while. But this film never got repetitive or boring, or it never just felt like it was like, okay, let's just keep the ball rolling. It just felt like it was always finding new ways to surprise you. And definitely with the characters, like they did things I just did not see coming at all. They were not afraid to shock you, to throw off your expectations. And even when the title card hits and the way that that divide between that that first part of the film and then everything else, it was a thrill ride for sure, and shocking and all the things. So yeah, immediately on my list.
And this is the film debut of the lead actor,
which was crazy. That was wild to me.
Obviously he's like a commando, the Indian forces, whatever, and this family of terrorists, this gang who was also a family, they just decided to pick on the wrong train. That's just what. So yeah, that's Kill, and that is still out right now. Cool. Yes. Okay, we got a number 7 from Miss Lily, and that is Longlegs. Oh, tell us about Longlegs.
Initially, oh my gosh, I thought about this one so much because initially I had it way higher in my list. When I came out of the theater, I honestly didn't know how to feel about it. I thought I really liked it until I started thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know. The more that I thought about the plot, the more that I was like, I don't think I really like this a lot, but it was still very entertaining. And while I was watching it, I was in a constant state of anxiety. I was I was just waiting for something to happen, and it was great the way that they set the tone with the shots that they would give you and with the music, because every 5 seconds I expected for something to happen, and then it never happened. But that's what made it so great, is that they didn't just go for like the cheap jump scare every 10 minutes and like, oh, something's popping up. No, so when something scary actually happened, or something, that kind of took you by surprise, it really, really got to you. I think like twice it happened, and I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck is going on? But I feel like it tried to do too many things at the same time. I don't want to give anybody any spoilers, because this is definitely something you need to watch in the theaters to get that feeling. It's just not going to be the same at home. But I feel like they just put too many horror genres in the movie, and it, at the end of the day, it didn't know what it wanted to be. and that kind of messed it up for me. So people were comparing it to Silence of the Lambs. I kind of saw a little bit of inspiration of something like Sinister in there. I definitely saw The Conjuring in there. So it's just a big mishmash of things that at the end of the day, they should have just gone with one thing. It put too much in there that it just didn't go together at the end of the day. And then what's driving me crazy now is that a lot of movies and even TV shows don't give you an ending anymore. They just kind of cut it, and then they let the audience get their own interpretation. Like, to me, if it's not done well, like something like Inception, I don't like that. You're the writer, you're the director, end it and tell me how it's supposed to end. I don't want to come up with my own ending. I think that's just really lazy. So that's why I dropped it a little bit more on the list. But the acting, Nicolas Cage is insane. I love that. I love him so much. He did great, but I think the one that took it home for me was Alicia Witt. She did so amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
R&B. This is Neon's biggest opening film, I believe.
Well, I just like my esteemed colleague here, I felt the same way she did. I was so excited. Dude, horror is my jam. I love horror as a genre. I love serial killer movies. I love serial killer novels. But, you know, it's serial killer movies. It's all about the pathology of the killer. Yeah. Why are they doing what they're doing? And you know, there's a lot of comparisons to Seven and Silence of the Lambs. Now, I want to say right away, I'm a fan of Oz Perkins. I think this was his fourth movie. He's making a Stephen King adaptation now, and he's got a movie that hasn't come out yet. I really have enjoyed what he's done, but this movie perplexed me. I had one of the greatest marketing campaigns I've ever seen for a movie.
Yes.
But when you go in and you're watching this movie, and I thought look, like everything you said, it's beautifully made. It's shot on film. It's the photograph. It's the cinematography. The photography is amazing. It's very unsettling. But here's the thing. When it's over, none of this movie makes a lick of sense at all. And I'm convinced that everyone said Silence of the Lambs. This is nothing like Silence of the Lambs. Like, if it makes any sense, Silence of the Lambs is real. And when Clarice Starling was investigating things, she was doing a real investigation. If you watch this movie, all of the investigatory stuff in it is gobbledygook. None of it makes any sense. And I'm convinced, having watched this movie now and thought about it, I don't think any of this movie actually happened. I think this whole movie is a poor woman who has suffered horrible trauma at the hands of her mother. And the whole movie is her working her way through this trauma, because they talk about this Longlegs killer. He's not it's not what you think. And when I'm watching this, trying to piece, none of it makes sense.
No.
And when you get to the end of it, it still doesn't make sense, but you know they set up this stuff at the beginning of the movie, and the end of the movie is exactly what they set up from the very beginning. You know it's going to happen. All that said, and there's things that happen in this movie that are so unbelievable, it's so out of left field. Mm-hmm. You're like, wait a minute, what? Yeah. There's I'll just say there's dolls in this movie.
Yeah.
Oh no.
That are you know, there's dolls in this movie, and it's like, I'm like, really?
Yeah. No.
But the thing is, when you're watching it, it's terrifying. Like, it casts a spell, but when I got out of the theater, I stopped to think, and I'm like, none of this movie makes any sense at all. It's all a dream. It's all in her messed up head. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a post-credit scene I didn't see where she wakes up in an asylum and she's been in a straitjacket the whole time.
That would have been a better ending, for sure.
But I liked it.
It was weird.
I mean, that's the thing.
But I liked it.
But I liked it. It's absolute gobbledygook.
I mean, we're horror fans here as well. So should we go see this film?
Absolutely. Everybody should.
Okay. To get that feeling, yes, for sure, because it is really, really unsettling. Like, you're expecting things to happen the entire movie. There's not one moment where you're like, okay, nothing's about to happen. No, it keeps you like on crazy edge the entire time. And that opening scene, Oh my gosh, that was one of my favorite scenes I have ever seen in a movie. The way that they did that to show you that it's in a different place and time, that was so cool. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I think that's why as soon as it ended, I was like, wait, I think I liked it. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, but wait, why did that happen? Or how did they do that? Or yeah,
Well, you had to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense, but I mean it's beautiful. It's a beautiful.
I just have to ask, I guess I haven't seen this. So if it was all a dream, did he read a Word Up magazine anytime in the movie?
Oh my god!
All right, that's
Hi-yo.
all right. Hey-o.
Hi-yo.
Production.
You're looking. Listen, Fletcher.
Stand in the back.
That was
Okay. Let's go to our let's.
D movie man is like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, you're laughing, D. You're laughing, so it's all right.
Inside, maybe he
I
is.
caught it. I caught
He's
it.
a very nice guy. Let's go to our film critics at our Latino Slant website. What they say, Rosa's number 7 was "I Am Celine Dion." I saw like maybe 30 seconds of it. I will not watch it. It's just so hard. It's very heartbreaking.
No!
I can't. But I'm sure it's amazing. I've been. It really rocked me to see Celine suffering that much, and for it to be filmed, I was just like. But anyways, Alfredo Galindo, number 7, disappeared completely. This is a Mexican film. It's in my honorable mentions. It is a horror film. I really loved the premise. I think that they fell short on it. It is on Netflix. You can check it out. It is the premise is interesting. He is a photographer that goes to crime scenes and photo for captures the dead bodies and the crime scenes. And there's something that happens supernatural where he starts losing his senses one after the other, and it's a really interesting premise. It is, that part of it is really frightening. So and the actor is pretty good. Romy didn't like the actor though. My number 7, Robot Dreams. I wrote, what a sweet and wonderful tale of a lonely soul yearning for friendship. And once he has the bond, the lengths he will go to keep it. It's an animated film from Spain. It's set in the set in the 80s in New York. There's barely any dialogue. I don't even think there's any dialogue. I saw it in theater, and I was absolutely captivated by it. It's a little swing. Anyone else see it on the panel?
Didn't see it.
Okay, you'd like it, Rob. You'd really like it. That is my number 7. Okay, well, over 80 people watching us combined on X and YouTube. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's our best of. We do this in the middle of the year and then at the end of the year. So Robert's been with us. Now, we've been doing this for a couple of years, R&B.
Yeah, we have, actually.
It's pretty cool. And newcomers, D the Movie Man, and Lily and Fletcher. I always love having you guys on. Terry says, I'm really excited to see Longlegs. I'm cautious now.
Yeah.
I'm cautious now. After all that. Distant Critics stopping in, just wanted to show some support to D Movie Man. He's running it as well. Raul Ray, Avisham is the best movie of the year for me so far. Everyone must watch it. Well,
I keep hearing this.
Yeah,
well,
I just started it actually. It looks really interesting so far.
Well, it's in my top 5, so we will get to talk about it. We will get to talk about it.
The plot thickens.
The plot thickens. So Bunny V had asked, good to see you in your panel. I hope you're having a good week. He asked, what's with these top 10s? Is it just Hollywood or is it open? I don't think I gave you guys any rules.
Mm-mm. No,
it's just what you like.
Well, I mean, Kill isn't a Hollywood movie.
Technically, Kill's a Hollywood film,
but it wasn't made in Hollywood.
It's not. You're absolutely right. I have a lot of films that are. I have quite a bit of foreign films. I mean, Robot Dreams is from Spain. It got an Academy Award nomination. You know, so
I didn't put it on my list, but there's a Spanish movie I would encourage everybody to see called The Coffee Table.
Oh,
see, you're jumping the gun, RPD.
Yes.
Oh, is that on someone's list?
So this is why you send the list early.
Look at the producer Fletcher going after R&B.
I know.
You had you had homework to do. You had one job.
Fletcher is spicy today.
Yeah, he is.
Spicy. Well, no carbs today.
I was just mentioning that because it's not an American movie.
Yeah, so we're really open here with our lists, and Azteca Aguilar. What's up, Polly? R&B, D, Fletcher, Lily, and everyone in the chat tonight. Hey, Azteca.
By the way, just to follow up, don't read anything about The Coffee Table.
Yeah.
No.
Don't read anything about it. No. Just watch it.
We will try to be as spoiler free in our because we realize a lot of you guys probably haven't seen a good portion of these. Some it's like, come on, you have to see it by now. Dune 2, we're gonna spoil. Okay, where are we, Fletch?
So
we had 6?
We had
Okay, here we go, guys. Let's jump back in at number 6, everybody. All right, number 6. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go in order. Well, you know what, Lily?
It's all good.
Go, Lily. I know. Sorry, D-man.
No,
I forgot what order I put all my movies in, so it's a surprise to me too.
It's okay,
Lily.
Okay. That's a trend now.
No, don't say it's okay.
Yeah, why even have production? That's it. That's it. I'm having a donut. That's it. Forget this no carb
donut.
That's it.
Wow.
You got it.
I put this one on the list because I saw it that it was finally available to watch, and I was like, I usually don't like it when they remake movies because they usually end up messing everything up. And this one I was like, you know what? I feel like watching a horror movie. This is a remake. It's probably gonna be terrible. I'm not gonna like it. And then like halfway through the movie, I was like, what? It's like I'm actually kind of enjoying this. I really liked it. I'm not really too sure about the ending to this because they changed how the initial one actually did end. So if you've seen the first Omen movie and the remake with what was her name, Julia Stiles, it's not going to be the same ending. It's going to be totally different, which kind of threw me off. And I was like, I think I like it, and I'm not sure. So it looks like they're going to make a sequel to this, and we'll see if they can actually come through with making maybe a trilogy out of this. Because if they set it up the way that I think they're going to set it up to go, this might actually be super cool. And the story kind of centers, it actually centers around her. And she's a nun that is sent to Italy, I believe, and all sorts of really creepy things are happening. Of course, there's a creepy child because there has to be a creepy child in all of these movies. And there's a twist in it that I totally didn't see it coming, because usually with horror movies, I'm very good about figuring out what's going to happen, because a lot of these, we've seen so many of the same thing that you can tell what's going to happen. This one, I didn't see it coming. So when it actually happened, I was like, okay, that's new. And of course, it gets pretty gory. I can always appreciate a little bit of gore mixed in with all of the stuff going on. And they've been making a lot of religious movies lately, and that's why it was another reason why I really kind of didn't want to watch this at first, because I saw Immaculate. I didn't like it. I thought that was really stupid. So I saw this one, and yeah, finally when it got to the end, I was like, oh, this was actually pretty creepy. I like it. when they show you enough of what's happening with all the creepy supernatural stuff, but they don't actually show you the creatures and the thing that's happening, because I think it's more unsettling that way. Your brain is much more creative in coming up with what these things actually look like, and they probably come up with scarier things than what's going to be shown in the film. So when all of that was happening and you just kind of see like claws and hands and things going on, I was like, oh, that is so creepy. Oh my gosh. Like it gave me the creeps. So I enjoyed this one. So if you're a horror fan, I recommend giving this one a chance, even if you don't like remakes and you really, really like the original.
I concur.
Well, we're gonna jump the line a little bit because it's also R&B. The First Omen.
Look, any movie
I gotta
that
tell
has
you guys. Me and Romy, we kind of fell asleep.
What? This is a good movie.
it is
Let's get out of here. Just kidding.
you know,
we
direct-
did hate Immaculate. We did hate Immaculate.
Immaculate was terrible.
This had a nice beginning. She's very interesting. Maybe we'll give it another shot. But R&B, convince me, please.
Well, first of all, this is a new up and coming female director, and I'm always interested to see how women directors approach horror because they do it differently than men do. And I like the fact that this was very evocative of the 70s, because this is basically a prequel to The Omen. And I was surprised at how much I really liked this movie. I like the atmosphere. I like the feel of it. I like the way it was shot. I like the performances. I was primed to hate this movie. And I thought it was a really accomplished piece. It was like it was creepy. It was creepy. It was really unsettling. I thought it cast a great mood. I like the slow burn nature of it. Look, I haven't met any Satanists in my life, but I love Satan as a protagonist, as he appears, or they, them, or she, it, whatever. Whenever the devil shows up and whatever guise the devil takes, in Basic Instinct, Paul Verhoeven said that Catherine Trammell, that Sharon Stone was playing, was essentially the devil. And I love Satan as a protagonist. I love Satan's mom. If you're going to bring the Antichrist into the world, I will watch that story.
Incredible.
You give me satanic cults, I'll watch. And I'm not even a religious person. I just think Satan is one heck of an antagonist.
Crazy.
This stream took a
R&B.
turn.
R&B.
No, but I mean, that's the thing. Like Rosemary's Baby, Coven of Witches bringing the Antichrist to the world. One of my favorite movies of all time. I like this. The religious conspiracy. This movie was like catnip to me. I loved it.
Yeah. Yes. And that's
But it
what
was
I
really-
meant. Sorry. Not that it was like a remake, but that they changed the ending to what happens in the original one. Sorry.
Yes. They had, yes.
Man, y'all just spoiling everything, all right?
That's why I said I wasn't sure if I liked it, because they changed. Like, you can't actually watch the original or the prequel, because this is a prequel. You can't watch them and then be like, wait, what? Because they're setting up like their own version of this. So that's why I'm saying hopefully they'll make a sequel and they'll turn it into maybe a trilogy. Hopefully, because this was creepy. I liked it.
It was a lot better than The Exorcist Believer.
Oof.
Oh my gosh, yes, that movie was terrible. I didn't like that.
Oh,
one
that was one of the worst movies of last year.
And I was primed to love it.
So were we.
It was bad.
That was garbage, man. Oh my god. Okay, that's good. Okay, so now let's go to D Movieman's number 6 and showing his eclectic taste. The documentary on Prime called Frida.
Yes.
All right.
Carla Gutierrez. I had the opportunity, and this was a last minute pick because I didn't think I was gonna be able to see this in person. But yes, I actually got to see the day one of the festival with this film, and I got to hear from Carla Gutierrez and hear her her inspiration for the film and how the creative process and all of that. And I think and granted, I love a documentary regardless for many reasons, but I think what I loved about this specific take on Frida, especially with the film by, I believe it was Julie Taymor starring Salma Hayek, that was already such a huge introduction for me into Frida Kahlo's life and learning so much, and it being something very, new to me. But the way they took this documentary and not only made it something very insightful and very, filled with so much emotional and psychological depth, but the fact that they actually had her voice pulled like her basically from her diaries, from the things that her written word, her actual thoughts, those, so that it was like we were literally, it was like her voice was transcending all these years, all these eras and time, and almost in a sense like speaking to us like in the present day. And I just thought there was something so I don't know, just so powerful about it. So, and I love the fact that it showcased her personality in all different ways. We delved into the sexuality piece. They delved into how blunt she was, how hilarious she was. Just really exploring the layers to her as a creative, as a woman, as a human, and an artist, and so many different things. So yeah, soon as it was over, I was just like, I can't think of a better way to have started off this experience at Sundance than with this film. So
yeah,
wonderful.
It was good.
Oh, you saw it as well?
Yeah, I did see it too. It was just beautiful the whole time. I was just like, oh my gosh, I love how they used all of her art in the background to tell the story. It was amazing. And she she's one of my favorite like people to read about and look at her art that inspired that her life inspired. It's just so cool. I like stupid random fact, but I actually named my niece after her. My brother let me pick her name. I suggested Frida because she's such an amazing painter. Like I love her paintings.
Yes. Uh-oh.
Did you put this on your list, Lily?
No, I didn't.
No.
I keep keeping myself muted. Yeah. Why'd you put on your
muted?
list, Miss 8?
Muted, but I could.
Miss 8. I was saying that,
I didn't know we could put documentaries in there.
I said anything, man. But listen.
Right,
I don't want to harp on you. I don't want to get down on you in R&B. I'm just happy you guys are here. Over 80 people hanging out with us on X and on YouTube. Thank you guys so much. Before we get to our film critics and what their number 6s were, really quickly, we have 5 gifted Latino Slant memberships from Terry. Muchísimas gracias. Here's the thing. We are going to do an R&B, you're invited. We're going to do a movie watch along party with Paul Chato. And we're going to watch the first 4 episodes of The Queen of the South, La Reina del Sur, Kate del Castillo, in Spanish, English subtitles with Paul Chato and members.
By the way,
yes.
she's I love her. And I once proposed, I made a graphic that they do a Latino remake of Basic Instinct with her in the Sharon Stone role.
Kate del Castillo?
Yeah. Come on, dude. You can picture it now. You're thinking,
absolutely. She's fierce, man.
Dude,
all right, so that's the next Kickstarter.
That's the next.
Yeah.
That's a great role for her.
Basic Instinct 3.
She would kill it. Let's thank.
I got the whole thing mapped out. We should hire her. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I know people. I know Kate's people. It's happening. Latino Slant's happening. This is the thing. Let's thank Terry for those new memberships. Thank you so much, Terry, for that. Okay, how's this? Is this bigger now? Can you guys see it better? Fletcher?
Yeah, small. Yes.
Okay, our number 6 is Rosa, who's in the chat. Rosa Para. She loved Babes, and I'm hearing. I heard a lot of good things about this. Let's just read a line. It takes a comedic approach to all the aspects of motherhood, managing to poke fun at some of the unspoken aspects of being a mother, while also giving sensitivity to the taboo scenarios a woman's body undergoes in the process. Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, I heard it's really funny. So, I think I'm going to give it a watch. That's all I'm going to say about that one. Thank you, Rosa. Number 6 for Alfredo, Civil War. So we're going to talk about Civil War very soon. And my number 6, I got to see this. What am I doing? Why is these things still up? You got to tell me these things are up. Fletcher, you're losing you're slipping.
High
You're
comments.
slipping.
But you still have the movie man's Frida too.
Thank you now for telling me.
Pleasure.
Thank you now. My number
What happens
6.
with no carbs?
My God. My number 6, from India, from the Malayalam film industry, which is kind of like the underdog, coolest movies come out of that particular film industry, Malayalam, is the movie Avisham. This is probably the wackiest film I've seen in a long time. And I say, okay, think college bros get bullied by schoolmates and then get befriended by Tony Montana. Add a twisted comedic flair plus wild fights and songs, you get one of the most original films of the year. Lead actor Fahad Fasil can do no wrong. This guy, this actor, Fahad Fasil, is kind of like an energized, like the Energizer, the bunny, right? It wrapped in a Joe Pesci. Like this guy can act. This guy can do so many. I've seen a lot of his films now, and this is kind of like a hyper reality of a gangster that befriends these kids who are bullied. Fantastic film. I'm not going to spoil it anymore. It is on Prime now. I had the pleasure of seeing it. I traveled to Orange County and I saw it in a movie theater, and I'm so happy I saw it, guys. So I know some people in the chat are happy that it made it to my list. So yeah, anyone on the panel get to see it?
Have not.
So yeah, so like I said, I started it and I'm already enjoying it, and I haven't even gotten into like the thick of it yet. So I'm sure I'm going to. It'll probably end up on my list as well.
Well, what's on your list at number 6? So that was my number 6. Oh wait, we did number 6. Oh, we're now
Yes.
on 5.
Well, did RVD do number 6?
It was Omen. Yeah. Well, let me double check here.
I only gave 5.
He only gave 5. I'm trying to. Yeah. So now we're on 5. Okay, let's go to 5.
Okay.
So I apologize.
No, don't be silly. Here we go. Challengers.
Oh, yes.
I like Challengers. It's good.
Yes. So again, and granted, I don't want to make it seem as if low expectations are responsible for my positive experiences with films. However, I do think that there are times where having, I guess, marginal expectations or sometimes lower, but I just think sometimes it makes it all the more. I don't know. I guess it makes it all the more rewarding when I go in and then a film gives me a lot more than I was expecting. And with Challengers, I already will say that even though I've seen some sports films that have been pretty enjoyable, it's not really my genre overall. So with this and the trailers and everything, I'm like, this looks interesting, but I had a feeling it was just going to. I was worried about it feeling like a style and no substance type of film, and I was absolutely wrong. I just think I just wasn't expecting the layers to the story, the performances, the twists, the turns, like there was just so much wrapped up in the film, and I just think there were so many times where I laughed, I was shocked, but I was enraptured the entire time. Also, as someone who used to play tennis myself, it kind of like brought me back. It was like, man, that's that adrenaline rush, that experience of being on the court or in the midst of this thrill ride, adrenaline rush sport, and what it feels like to go toe to toe with someone else. in that setting. So yeah, I just think it delivered in a lot of ways, and I just didn't expect it to feel so artistic and thoughtful and thought provoking, but it was really, really solid film.
Nice. Um, it's higher on my list. I'll wait to talk about it, but I know it's on a lot of people's lists. Um, why don't we? Me, it's really high on your list, Lily. So why don't we just wait on your commentary on it? How about you, R&B, really quick?
For what my next movie?
No, did you?
Oh, I really liked this film. I really liked Challengers a lot. I mean, I always mispronounce his last name, but Luca.
Italian.
Guadagnino. I can't. Yeah. He made the Suspiria remake. He made Tell Me Your Name, which I thought was really great, with Timothy Chalamet and the now canceled Armie Hammer, but a terrific film. I was surprised by this movie, like you. I went into it going, what is this? And I thought it was a really engaging, it's erotic, it's fun, it's wildly entertaining. It's all of these things, and it had great tennis sequences in it too. So I enjoyed it. I mean, it was surprising to me. So I liked it.
All right. Well,
I would have put it on my top 10 if I had done 10.
Twist the knife.
And you know what, Fletcher? It's not like this is the first time he's done this with us.
That's true.
I couldn't resist. I love you, man.
Well, we're halfway, Polly, so 5 movies make sense.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I see what you did there. You're number 5, the Fall Guy.
I just really like this movie. I thought it had something for everybody, that you could go watch it with your family and it would be cool. You can go watch it with your significant other, and you have like a love story going on there, but you also have a lot of really cool action scenes and a lot of stunts. And it really impressed me that I've seen a lot of movies with action sequences, and there were a lot of stunts in here that I had never seen before. And I thought that was so cool. So I think I had read that the director actually used to be a stuntman himself, right? I think I read that somewhere. So yeah. He knows what he's doing when he's like filming all of these action sequences, and you could completely tell. And our theater was actually full, and it was really fun watching it because everyone was laughing along. Everyone was having a good time. And I just don't understand what happened with this movie that a lot of people didn't go watch it. I'm still trying to figure it out because I thought it was good. And then just like somebody had mentioned earlier, Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling's chemistry is it's crazy. You can even see it when they're doing interviews together, that any movie that they make together is going to be super good. They just play off of each other so well. And I think the only thing that I didn't like was that a couple of the conversations between both of them went on a little bit too long, like that sequence where they were in the middle of filming and she starts kind of like fighting with him. I was like, oh, okay, this joke could have ended like 5 minutes ago. Like, let's move on now. But Aaron Taylor Johnson was hilarious in this too. He was like a complete douche, and he was so much fun. But it was just a really fun movie. So I really enjoyed it. I don't know what happened that no one wanted to go see it.
It's on a lot of our lists. I mean, that cast, Winston Duke.
Yeah, he was so cool.
And the lady that played the producer. Oh my God, the English lady.
So good too, yeah.
God, she was absolutely nuts. Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, and the dog too. I love the dog.
And the dog. Was it Jean-Luc?
Yes, Jean-Luc.
Jean-Luc, attaque.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. And of course it had some. Go ahead.
I think I made everybody angry on Twitter because I said that if you didn't like this movie, you didn't enjoy fun.
Hey, you're not wrong. You know, in some of these circles that we run, unfortunately, the fandom can be very immature, and it's like, there's go have fun. Just shut up and go have fun.
But it wasn't even people like in our circle. Everyone enjoyed it. I don't with the rest of everyone else?
What's up with everyone else? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic. And that's your number 5. R&B. I got you for Civil War. I'd love for you to talk about this.
Well, I'm a fan of Alex Garland. I mean, all the way back to writing movies like The Beach and 28 Days Later. And then when he started directing, he always brings, I think, an interesting take to the material. When he was the Southern Reach trilogy was the source for his movie Annihilation, which I didn't think was entirely successful.
Mm-hmm.
His TV series Devs really put the zap on me. The penultimate episode put me into an existential crisis for a couple of days, just dealing with what it was going after. But I think that this movie, obviously, it had its very provocative title, and coming out in an election year in the United States and seeing how divided we are as a nation, I think this movie was I think people wanted to see some kind of a Red Dawn-esque the Hatfields versus the McCoys and Americans killing each other, and this movie is not that, even though
right. Well, the way they marketed the film,
yeah. And I thought the idea, a story about, I've always been a fan of stories about the press, whether it's Spotlight or All the President's Men or Oliver Stone's Salvador from the early 80s. Yeah.
Dude,
and
when I saw this movie, I thought of Salvador.
Right? Me too.
I went to go rewatch it.
100%. And I thought that this movie did a terrific job. I mean, a lot of this movie is people driving in cars, and yet the idea of what journalistic integrity means and how journalists going into war-torn areas and how heroic they can be. There's another movie with Kate Winslet coming out about a journalist during World War II, a photographer for Vogue, and she plays that photographer based on a real person.
Oh, is it Lee?
Lee, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it looks terrific to me. And I knowingly putting yourself in harm's way to get the word out and what that means and why journalism is important. And in an era where we literally have newsrooms being replaced by generative AI, and the whole idea of journalism is to preserve what happened for future generations, so they know and hopefully can prevent things from happening in the future. And I really thought this movie is really powerful. I think once you set aside what you think it's going to be and kind of accept what it is, because I had to do that. I'd stop and go, okay, I get it. This is not quite what I expected. But when you settle in and look, that scene with Jesse Plemons is a monumentally disturbing scene. And,
it is.
And it was so, unfortunately, it was so real about it. It really captured what it's like today. And I thought it was a terrific film.
I would have to agree with you. I mean, it's on my list, in my top 10 list, R&B. The dialogue, the relationships between these people, like you said, talking in a van going towards their destination. It's a road trip movie. It's not the backdrop is the one thing that was interesting is that it was in America, but they didn't really get into the details of it because it was about the details of these characters. And then passing the baton of Kirsten Dunst's character to the new photojournalist, and the rush and the adrenaline of literally almost getting killed. That's fantastic. And I got to tell you, when they played Say No Go, which was De La Soul's sampling of Hall & Oates, and it's Wagner Moura just like freaking out in slow motion and just like you're feeling the rush. It was fantastic, man. That was killer. That was killer. Okay, let's go to, if you guys don't mind, to Rosa and Alfredo's number 5, guys. Their 5 is Rosa's is If, which I didn't see. Anyone see If?
Yeah, I can see that. That movie was way better than I thought it was going to be.
She said a sense of wonder, imagination, expression only adds significance to the meaning of life.
And it
Krasinski
packs
has
an
delivered.
emotional wall up too.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Krasinski is a great modern storyteller with his movies. You know, I got to see this movie. Alfredo's is Robot Dreams, and mine is The Long Game. I'm just gonna say this really quickly about this. It is number one currently right now on Netflix. It had a very quick run in the movie theaters. I was able to see it in the theater. I was really impressed on how Julio Quintana, who is a disciple of Terrence Malick, so the filming is just gorgeous. He he does this thing that I don't think I've ever seen on film before. In that he showed how Chicanos, Mexican Americans, deal with discrimination with three different generations. Cheech was a World War One vet, and he says to Jay Hernandez, "You think you had it bad during World War II? Listen to my story." Right? Then Jay's character is teaching the kids golf, and these kids created their own golf course because they're not allowed anywhere. And I see these kids as breaking those barriers, and really they're going into college, going into the 60s. They're that next generation. And I'd never seen anything like that on film R&B. You know, a lot of times when we're talking about Chicano films, it's gang culture, which, hey, I love Blood in, Blood Out. But I love. Thanks again for telling me, Fletcher. You see,
That's just StreamYards is acting out.
No, man. I'm just giving you crap. Listen, it's a great film. Go see it. That's my pick. How about that? All right. Anyone see it here on the panel?
I'm familiar with it. I feel like I saw I think I saw a trailer for a pop up at another film I was seeing, but it looked really intriguing.
Okay, where are we at now, Fletcher? Need your help,
All
buddy.
right, so now we're number 4.
Number. Rocket, Lily. Rocket.
Oh yeah. I'm like, my list starts to get totally unhinged after this. I don't care what everybody has to say on Twitter or anywhere that these movies are stupid and they don't have a plot and whatever. I love Godzilla. I love Godzilla movies. I'm never gonna apologize for having fun at the movies and turning my brain off for a little bit and just watch a big monkey and a big lizard fight. It is so much fun. Actually, I think this one did much better than Godzilla versus Kong in the story with the humans. I know everybody complained about that they said that they really didn't have anything to do there. They were just kind of like on the side. But I feel like they actually kind of gave the humans a little bit more purpose this time. They kind of joined the fight a little bit more too. Like, I absolutely love Dan Stevens, and he's like basically their vet. And he's hilarious in this movie. And I thought it just got really touching too with the story with Gia and her mom, because she's a teenager now, so she's going through all this teenager stuff, and the mom is kind of having this issue where she's like, uh-oh, we're gonna find people she can relate to. She's gonna want to leave me, and I'm sure a lot of people have already seen it, but I'm not gonna spoil it just in case. But it that part of it was so cute. Like, I think that actually made me cry. And then of course you have if you're gonna watch it for Godzilla, he's not in this movie so much. He's kind of like a side character a little bit more. This is more Kong's story. And I never really liked Kong too much before, but after this movie, I adore him. He's so good. And the thing is that you see these characters like Kong, Godzilla, obviously they can't speak, but they give them so much personality that you don't really need them to be speaking to each other to know what each of them is thinking. And it's just really fun just to watch them go through this whole movie. And of course, everybody knows that Godzilla has beef with with Kong, and they kind of have to team up in this one. So it was just fun, and I'm never gonna apologize for loving these kinds of movies. It's so good.
I had a blast watching this film.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Movies.
Godzilla -1 is hits me differently, and that was an incredible film. But this was a blast. This was a blast. I love Kong, and trying to like, come on, Zilla, work with me here, work with me.
That's so savage.
I had a lot of fun. Would anyone else on the panel see this film?
Yeah, but you've got Godzilla. I mean, look.
Okay.
The thing is, Godzilla -1 compared to Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
But that's not even fair.
No, I honestly don't put them in the same thing. If you want a more serious movie, yes, Godzilla -1. If you just want to have fun and just turn your brain off, Godzilla X Kong.
It's true.
Okay, all right. D man.
I actually didn't get a chance to see it when it was out. It was during my film festival run, and so there were a few films that got placed in the back burner because of that. But it looked. I mean, I enjoyed. It's interesting because my whole Godzilla Kong experience has been up and down. I feel like Kong Skull Island and then Godzilla versus Kong, those have been kind of my two favorites, and everything else had kind of been kind of middling. But I was interested to see this one just to see how it held up, especially considering how many films we've had thus far.
This is the first, really the first Bach I'm seeing, Fletcher, from Robert Meyer Burnett. I mean, look, his arms are crossed. He's not happy about Godzilla.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I'm a Godzilla guy. I'm a
Do
Godzilla
it, man.
guy.
Do it. Come on.
I
Tell
am,
me.
and
Tell
I feel like I got my Godzilla. He was done dirty because Godzilla has a kid, Minya, and I felt that this is the Americans bringing in their monster and choosing to shine a light on Kong and making him more important than Godzilla, and I feel it was racist. I feel it was classist. I feel everything
what?
about this.
Wait, hold on.
I think Americans were trying to take away
You have to make him big for that. Yeah.
Gojira.
Yeah.
We needed.
Meyer Burnett finds Godzilla X Kong racist.
Come on, man! It's racist against Godzilla. It's specious. It's specious. That's what I call it.
It's not even a real
cultural
species.
appropriation.
Totally.
Total.
No, I'm of course jesting. I'm kidding here, but no. In all honesty, look. Here's the thing about what's interesting about King Kong is 'twas beauty that killed the beast, and King Kong is a classic American monster, but this idea of bringing him and making him big enough on the same level of Godzilla just rubs me the wrong way, man. And they did it. The Japanese did this in the 60s. They made their own King Kong movies.
You see what you did, Lily?
No,
Didn't know.
no. I mean, come on. King Kong has an Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet in this movie.
That's cool, man.
It's
Come on,
hilarious.
it's fun.
I love it.
It's what are we talking about here? This is a Hollywood flex and silly. Come on.
Okay, you're right, but
Let's,
still, it doesn't have to be. You could actually like the first Godzilla, Gareth Edwards' 2014 Godzilla. They did a pretty interesting job. They always shot Godzilla from a street level for the most part, like the human viewpoint, and it worked pretty well. I mean, Godzilla was terrifying, and Kong Skull Island, that was actually a legitimately pretty great movie.
Yeah.
I really like that. But
got something answered. You calling it racist, man? What's going on here?
This is Godzilla, but you have to understand it's racist against Godzilla. So just to be clear,
all right.
Yeah, because they think
they
think Kong is superior, and I don't like that.
The audience is probably what messed it up because 2014 is such a good movie, so I agree. But I think it had a lot to do with the audience being like, well, we didn't get enough shots of Godzilla, guys. We didn't get enough action shots. So the audience was pretty much the reason that they ruined what the tone of the movies that they were kind of going for. So then I think they picked up this like more goofy
Well, you know what's interesting, I think, about these movies. And by the way, I'm kidding. I'm jesting about all this stuff. I mean,
this is amazing. This is like the most robust talk we've had. It's
I can't believe this is the one that broke.
Not challengers, not like the aesthetics of postmodern Spanish cinema, but
I know.
Go ahead.
I do think though that Americans could have done a Godzilla movie that isn't just a goof. And this borders on, it's really goofy. And then when you see what they can do with a Godzilla -1, or even the last Toho Godzilla movie, Shin Godzilla, where they treated Godzilla as a natural disaster, and it was told from the Japanese sort of FEMA, the FEMA perspective, like how do they manage when Godzilla rolls ashore? How do they manage that as a disaster? That was a really interesting take. I mean, Godzilla celebrated his 70th birthday. So, since I think this year, 1954 was the first Godzilla film, so 70 years old. That's pretty impressive with how many different, and there's been 3 eras of Godzilla movies. I guess this would be a new era, but Godzilla versus Kong, or Godzilla x Kong, the new empire.
I'd like to move on.
No, this is the most engaging, most. Yes.
I just want to read some comments from people. We were kind of backed up here on comments. We would love some super chats, but we're going to read the comments. Start comments. Long Game is one on the top of my list for the year. All twisted up says. Azteca Aguilar, Dune 2 for me so far. Nothing is top yet. We'll see if Joker Folie can knock it off my #1 spot. Bunny V, the quality of Hollywood has clearly gone down. It used to be so easy to put Hollywood movies in the top 10, but now it's a struggle to find them. Japan, Indian, Spanish movies are winning. The Upside Down Dan, Challengers is my #2 so far. Terry, if Lily's recommending Fall Guy and Polly liked it too, I'm going to watch it tonight. Oh, Terry, you'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And there's an extended version.
That's right.
Streaming.
That's right. Darth Plato, what up, dude? I thought the first one was a documentary. All twisted up. Coffee table. Oh, that's a very specific type of watch. Oh boy. Solomon, did Abigail with Melissa come out this year too? If so, I enjoyed it. Yes, it did. I really enjoyed it.
It was fun.
Abigail was a lot of fun. Great cast. Dan Stevens again.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, here we go. For $2. Thank you so much, Darth Plato. Doggy Slumber Party video, please. Let me see if I still have it. It is my God, this video is almost like 4 years old. Oh my God. Where are my boys at? Did I take it down?
Wow.
Oh my God, this is sad. No. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's Yoda. I found it. Okay, guys. We'll be right back. Here you go.
Oh, who's got their pajamas on? Oh, it's a slumber party. Oh my goodness. Oh, the slumber party time. Look at. Oh, get it, baby. Oh, get it, boys. Oh, that's a very nice. Oh, get it, baby. Get it. Get your pajamas. Who is that? Very handsome babies with the pajamas.
I gotta tell you, thank you, Darth Plato. I gotta tell you, man. My kids are getting their. It's like 4 years ago. And Mr. Butters is doing very well. I had some health scares earlier this year, but thank you, Darth. Thank you to our subscribers, our members, everyone watching on all platforms, all that good stuff. We love our fur babies, and they're all doing very well tonight. Top movies so far. It's been a blast. I would not expect the most robust conversation to be about the racist attitudes that American film has towards Godzilla. But let's bring back in our panel, why don't we? Wright Fletcher, we have the great Robert Meyer Burnett, my buddy. We have the lovely Lily. Great list, Lily. And D, the movie man. Are you having fun with us? Are you having a good time?
Absolutely.
Cool, man.
Got so much conversation and discourse I wasn't expecting. That's always good.
How about you, Fletcher? What are you thinking so far? As a producer, how's this holding up?
It's great. Just it's you don't mind. It's just no carbs day, man. That's what happens. No
Oh, is that why you're a little extra?
I'm an extra spicy.
That makes
You're
sense.
extra spicy.
That's what happens, man.
Okay, I believe we were at what, number 4 or 5?
Number 4.
Okay, so our critics Rosa's number 4 was Frida. So that's high up on her list. I remember when she said it. She says it's a must watch. Gotta watch it. Number 4 for Alfredo Galindo is the Chimera. Before the wider release of Challengers in April, on late March, one of its lead actors, Josh O'Connor, starred in this art house Indiana Jones as he leads a group of archaeologists and challenges the black market of historic pieces of this film. Has anyone seen this movie?
No.
The Chimera?
It was actually on my watch list. Yeah, because I enjoy Josh O'Connor, but I still haven't seen it.
Okay. All right. Great list, Alfredo. Thank you so much. I think he's listening in Mexico. You can catch his reviews as well as Rosa Para on the latinosland.com. Okay. My number 4. Horizon, an American Saga. RMB, here's what I wrote, my friend. I strongly believe that if we are to survive as a country, we must embrace our collective history. Thorns and all. Costner takes that first step into the American West with this in mind. I need part 2 right now. I loved this film. I saw it twice.
Wow.
And I saw it again with my mother, and she adored this film. I don't know, man. I think this movie got a lot of got dissed. I don't know what happened. Why it just was a bomb? It was a big bomb. But it's high on my list. It's number 4. Go see it, or else. Anybody here on this panel?
I haven't seen it, but I'm a fan of Costner's. Hell, I like The Postman.
Postman was
Sue
good.
me. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you just say you like The Postman?
Yes, I did.
But then you
great.
were challenging Lily's Godzilla X Kong, but you like The Postman.
Yes. Yes, The Postman rules.
Postman rules.
It's based on a science fiction novel. It has a great cast. Tom Petty's playing himself. What's not to love? Will Patton's the villain, and the idea that the U.S. mail could save the country.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Come on,
I gotta tell you, Horizon, it was hitting all the buttons for me.
the people that really like it really love it. So, and I'm sure I will enjoy it. I mean, I think there's it's weird when things like don't hit
right
like that, but
well, I'd also say give it a chance too, for the fact that it's here we have an American original film about our collective history. Everyone on this panel is represented in this film, which I was really surprised with, and that's not that's why I was
Godzilla lovers. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Costner was making a great statement here about our American spirit, and we have really lost that. There's just so much that has been dividing us the last few years that I find it very hard to even go on social media. This is not real life. And when I see something like Horizon, it just makes me feel good that the human spirit can conquer so much. I mean, do you know how tough it was to be a pioneer? These were not rich people. These were people of different backgrounds, different ethnicities. They were the poorest of poor, coming from the east. I mean, I was in shock. R&B. It was some good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen it. I can't wait to see it. I mean,
okay. So, anyone else want to comment on Horizon? Or are you guys good? Okay.
I will just say really quickly. I wonder if it's and I can't say one way or the other, but I'd be curious to know if the issues with the box office for Horizon are in any way linked to the backlash with Kevin Costner for the whole Yellowstone issue. I'm curious about that.
Oh, because he left.
Yeah. A lot of folks said, like, I refuse. Like, I literally saw a bunch of stuff on social media where folks just like, well, how dare Kevin Costner attempt it? And I was like, oh, okay, this is bigger than I thought.
Did you see 1883?
Yeah.
No, heard great things.
Yeah, so it's Horizon's more like 1883.
Right.
Not like Yellowstone, but I don't know why. I guess he thought all those people would come and see his film. That's like, hey, all our YouTubers are going to go to our Instagram page. Okay, your number 4, sir. Exhibiting Forgiveness. What is this?
So this is a film directed by Titus Fafar. It stars, my goodness, Andre Holland, one of my favorite actors and someone who's underrated. But it also has a few other actors in it as well that are well known. But this is another one I saw at Sundance, and the story basically is centered around a man having to contend with his very dysfunctional relationship with his father and how that has informed his life as a creative, as a father, as a husband. And it is about him having to understand what forgiveness is. And it sounds like of something very straightforward, and in some ways it is, but it's also dealing with the antithesis of forgiveness. Like a lot of stories about like, oh, I'm a better person now, so I have to forgive, and this is what that looks like. And it really delves into the complications of how the past really does inform the present, how it transforms people and what it does to them, and how forgiveness does not look one specific way. And I think there's a song, because Andra Day is in this as well, and she's an actress and a singer. And there's a song, I just remember the one lyric that stood out to me was building with bricks that we were never given. And that kind of sums up the film, where it's about taking the things that we did not have, but finding some way to press forward into the future and build a better future, but not necessarily having to attach oneself or be beholden to the past anymore. So it's one of those things where it's like, once you see it, you'll kind of, a lot of those deeper aspects of the story will hit a little bit harder. But as someone who already was a huge fan of Andre Holland, I think even before Moonlight, but I really hope this is the film that gets him some nominations, because he's kind of flown under the radar, and I don't like that. He needs more.
Up until I saw your list, it was like, this is one I just had not heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a comparison as far as a drama that has been out there before that kind of like is like this?
Oh, that's I could think of maybe a few. I would say because of what the story that it's dealing with, I would say probably if you've seen Fences, there are some elements of Fences that kind of ties into this, where as far as the father-son relationship, and what gets passed down and what complicates that relationship for something that should be positive and encouraging, and how some of those things get warped into something else, and what that then does to that person as an adult. So yeah, so I'm sure there are better examples, but that definitely is one that has a lot of similarities, at least from that one standpoint.
I love it. Thank you. All right, we're up to the. Oh wait, you got a fourth one here.
Yeah,
really fast. R&B's pick. Love Lies Bleeding. What is that?
Love Lies Bleeding was a surprise for me. I thought you've got Kristen Stewart and an actress that I didn't know, this electrifying bodybuilder,
Katie O'Brien.
She was. I mean, this was just a knockout. It had a lot of different elements. I mean, it sort of reminded me of Bound a little bit, the Wachowskis' Bound, which is with Gina Gershon and why am I drawing a blank on her name?
Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly, yeah, Meg
Tilly,
Tilly's sister, Jennifer Tilly. But it's a noir, it's a modern noir. And I thought this film was terrific. I loved it. I thought it was beautifully made. I love the script. The acting is terrific. And the storyline, again, it was something I thought it was going to be one thing, and it turned out to be something else. And it really surprised me. It wasn't what I expected going in. And I really, really enjoyed this movie a lot. I thought it was hard hitting. It didn't pull any punches. And I thought, look, there's a lot of people that I think Kristen Stewart has, there's something about her that I really like. She was in a movie called Personal Shopper that turns out to be a ghost story. And I love her. I mean, I know she's the Twilight girl, but still, I think she's grown into quite a fine actress. And I think this is one of her best performances. And I really, really, enjoyed this journey that these two women took me on, and I thought it was great. It was surprising to me because the trailer was good, but I thought it really delved into their relationship. You really knew what these characters wanted from one another and from the world around them, and I really enjoyed the exploration of the relationship between these two. I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was terrific, a lot better than I expected it to be. It was just one of those surprises where when it was done, I'm like, wow, man, didn't expect that. And that's what I think you want out of a movie going experience. You go in and it knocks you out. That's what I'm always looking for. I don't always get it lately, but when it happens, yeah, this is something I'm going to buy. So,
anyone else on the panel check this out?
Not yet, but I did see that it was already on streaming, I think, so I'm definitely going to watch it.
It's really worth your time.
It piqued my interest, so yeah, I was already looking at it.
Yeah, this is another one that got put on my radar because of Sundance, but of course I couldn't see it. But as we went along and I had the opportunity to see it like in theaters, I kind of punked out because I heard about body horror, and even though that is an element I can appreciate in films, sometimes it goes up and down. I'm just like, do I really want this image lodged in my brain for the rest of eternity? So that can be a challenge. However, I was, for whatever reason in my mind, I thought the body horror was related to like muscles. So I thought I was going to see muscles tearing or breaking or ligaments popping, and that's not what it was. So I need to now circle around and just watch it, now knowing that aspect.
And I also have to mention that I'll see anything that Ed Harris is in, and he's great. He's great in this movie.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to say, Kate O'Brien or Katie O'Brien, whatever her name is really interesting on film.
Yeah.
And, she was even in one of the Star Wars TV shows, I believe, right?
The Mandalorian, yeah.
And then she's in the new Twisters.
Oh, no way. Oh.
Very, very, she's there a lot, even though she doesn't say a lot. She's, a very supporting character, but she's got a presence, though. It's kind of undeniable. I mean, I will say that thing about Twisters is that whole cast was very talented, a lot of charisma. So I'm interested in seeing this. And the upside Dan says, "Love lies bleeding love." Wasn't sure how I'd feel about it beforehand, but I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that's same with me. It was really.
Isn't that great. Bella from Twilight? Yes. Yeah. she's really. Yeah, she's really gone, done a lot to kind of break that mold, which is pretty much impossible. But her and Pattinson have done it.
Yeah,
I agree.
Because they weren't happy with those films. I liked her in Runaways. And didn't she play Spencer?
Yes, Diana.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, where are we, Mr. Producer?
Number 3.
No, did we get our... Yes, you're right. I gotta listen to you more often. Here we go.
Here we go. Down the banner.
Number 3, guys. Boom. The Bike Riders. Lily, tell us about the Bike Riders.
So this is based on a true story. This was actually a photographer who did take a lot of the pictures that this film was inspired by, and you get to see a lot of the shots that they recreated for the movie. So it does follow this bike club, and it started off in the 60s, I believe, and you kind of see how it goes from the 60s into the 70s and how things kind of change. And what I really enjoyed about this movie is that it it teaches you a lot about how you kind of find your people, and then how you find loyalty to these people, and then you kind of see how the way that things change, and how kind of the new breed starts to come in, and they kind of lose this loyalty. They're kind of very selfish. They're out for themselves, and it kind of isn't the same as it used to be. Even though I wasn't alive, obviously, during those times, I really felt that, because I was like, yeah, you kind of don't see a lot of this stuff anymore. Like, everyone's kind of like doing their own thing. Nobody kind of comes together and finds their people to kind of hang out like this, and you know that your actual friends, you can count on each other like that. And I really loved it. Like, Tom Hardy has been one of my favorite actors for such a long time. And then, of course, Austin Butler is like one of my newest favorite actors. He's been like knocking it out of the park every single thing that I've seen him in so far. And just having both of them together, I was like, okay, sign me up. Let's go see what this is all about. And then they have a whole bunch of really great actors in this too. Like, they have Norman Reedus in there. I really did like Jodie Comer's performance in it too. But the reason why this wasn't higher on my list, and this is no fault of her own because this is based on a real person, but I could not stand her accent in this movie. It just, oh my gosh, I wish that they had started with her narrating, because she is the narrator of the story. So I wish they had started with her narrating. They go into the story, and then we don't hear her until the end. And we just hear her when she's speaking in her own, story that she's telling. It's just so abrasive, like her accent. I kept telling my friend, I was like, am I just being a hater that I don't like her? She's like, no, I can't stand it. Every single time they cut back to her and she's talking, I zone out. So that was my only issue with it too. And I just love the cinematography in this too. You see a lot of really great shots of all these characters, and one of my favorite scenes was something that they actually changed because of Tom Hardy. Like, this is how good he is. So there's this exchange between Tom Hardy's character and Austin Butler's character, where they initially had them like separate from each other, and they're talking about, well, I'm not gonna spoil it, but they're talking about something important that Tom wants Austin to do. And the way that they had set up the shot, Tom Hardy actually told the director, like, you know what, maybe we should change this so that we're actually a little bit more closer together, a little bit more, talking to each other more intimately, because this is a subject that's important to both of them. And the way that they shoot it halfway in shadows, and you can just kind of see them speaking to each other, it's just, they did some really cool stuff in this movie. And I think this was another one that like nobody went to go see. And
another original movie.
Yeah, another original movie that nobody went to go see. And I don't understand why, because it was, you can't go wrong with like a bunch of guys in leather jackets on motorcycles, and it's actually telling you a really cool story. And I don't know why people didn't go see it, but I loved it. I really enjoyed it. It was just Jodie Comer's accent.
Panel? Anyone else?
I haven't seen it, but I'm dying to.
It's so good.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, let's move on to another top three. We're like getting into the threes now.
Yep.
Dune Part 2. Lay it on us.
Yes, I'm sure this wasn't a surprise to some of you, but yes, I think as someone who was familiar with Dune as far as the book series, but had never really delved in, I think that Dune Part 1 was a welcome. I think it was. I think considering 2020 and some of the events of 2021, it was nice to dive back in for a massive escapist sci-fi epic like Dune, and having that introduction to that world personally. and also seeing some of the influences for films that came later, even though the film came first, but seeing the inspiration for films like Star Wars and other sci-fi stories that have and properties that we've seen as a result of that. But I think what I appreciate most about Doom Part 2, because even though I enjoyed the first Doom, there was a lot I still was piecing together and where it leaves off, and I was like, there's so much more I want to see. And I think that it really heightens everything that I might not have appreciated or understood about the first Doom, and just like ties that all together. And it's like, it's kind of speaks for itself. The performances, the cinematography, like the visuals, like even down to certain things. Like one of my favorite parts was Rebecca Ferguson, someone else who I think, in my opinion, is underrated, but even her journey as Lady Jessica, and how sinister and how how complicated that becomes, and Paul's journey and all of that. I just think that even beyond the visual aspect, the storytelling really hit hard for me. And yes, also Austin Butler's performance as well. It's just, there was just so much to really enjoy and appreciate. And I don't know how long it's going to take for us to get Doom Messiah, but I will definitely, both of these will definitely be up on the rewatch list. And I'm also excited for, I believe it is Dune, I think it's the Sisterhood.
Yeah.
On Max. So yeah, this world is just very exciting, and I'm excited to learn even more going forward.
This is my number 3 as well, really quickly. So yeah, I'm in it. Listen, I just don't think it was do I think it was a perfect film in regards to just like the cinematic event that it was? Yes. I just don't think it was a really good adaptation. Some of the changes really upset me.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But that's okay. That's all right. I still bought in, but the Chani change was really extreme for me, to where really, like, the ending really killed it for me and where it could go. So other than that, it's top of my list. It was my number 3 as well. Okay, let's get to, and I know you guys, because you guys are, we'll wait. Can we wait for your Dune talk in a minute, you two?
Yeah,
because I know you guys are higher. So let's go to our, they're all 1 or 2, right? So I think kind of unanimous as far as Dune and what it was able to accomplish. Let's go back to our critics on our list here. As far as number 3, we're still at number 3. Inside Out 2 from Rosa Para. Anyone see Inside Out 2 on this panel?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, Rosa says it's a sequel that surpasses its predecessor in every possible way. Well written, well acted, and superb animation makes Inside Out 2 one of the best sequels in the film. Okay, well, I still haven't seen 1, so
right, exactly.
Yeah, that's my only thing. But I'm sure it's wonderful. Alfredo Galindo, number 3, Challengers. This is high on my list as well. Luca Guadagnino. So maybe this will get some Academy Award nominations there, R&B.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I'll tell you something. If you're what I find really interesting is, like, with something like Inside Out, Pixar, it's really weird. Like, Pixar and the MCU under Bob Chapek's reign at Disney seemed to both take a hit. Pixar for 25 years delivered hit after hit after hit after hit. And then they like Seeing Red wasn't even released in theaters. Either was Soul. And I thought that was a mistake, because I loved Soul, and I actually liked Seeing Red quite a bit. But and Inside Out, the original, was a great film. So it's nice to see this movie get into theaters and make money again, because I think Pixar was kind of done dirty. And things like Lightyear certainly was a mistake. It didn't work out. But you know, going to a theater and seeing a movie like Coco, that was just a knockout, you know, and I like to hear that Pixar's back, you know, because they put such care and craft into their work, and they have for such a long period of time.
Okay, let's read a couple of super chats really quick. Take a break from the countdown. We're almost done. Maria with T and Telly. Hello, Maria. Hope you're doing well for $2. $2. To a good cause, just because. Thank you, Maria. Hi, Maria. I think she's going to be on the show soon, in a week or two. Yeah. Darth Plato for $2. Only biker movie I like is Stone Cold.
Yes.
We should do like a bike, like the best biker movies.
That, you know, it's funny you say that. I just filed my Stone Cold Blu-ray away today. I was like, I got to put this back under S.
Huh. I mean, like, what's a great biker film? I mean, yeah, Easy Rider. Man, everyone's gonna say Easy Rider, but
but there's actually an Australian biker movie called Stone, not Stone Cold, from the Ozploitation days of the 70s. It's pretty good. And then, of course, you know, like Hell's Angels on Wheels, all that 60s stuff.
Bike riders.
Yeah. Well, there's modern equivalent.
And Motorcycle Diaries. I thought that was a wonderful bike ride film. That was definitely more of a road movie. But
another great movie is Willem Dafoe's. Catherine Bigelow's, her film debut starred Willem Dafoe in a movie called The Loveless. That's worth watching. She actually co-directed it, but it's one of Willem Dafoe's debut performances, and he's terrific in it.
Well, according to Darth Plato, the prequel is The Tricycle Riders. Hi-oh! Hi-oh! And he comes in with another $5. Thank you so much. Polly, I suspect the reason Chani was changed because Denis Villeneuve, Sacre Bleu, I am from Quebec, didn't want to show the lead lady as supporting a colonialist effort. Any thoughts there, RMB? No. And hailing from India, he's up. He's getting his coffee. Good morning, Nona Prince. What's up, brother? He's got a fantastic channel. Check him out whenever you can, man. I know he really loved Ave Sham as one of his top films. Okay, so where are we, Fletcher?
We are going to go to number 3.
I think we're on 2, no?
Yeah, we're the last 2, yeah.
We're on the last 2. Here we go. And Lily, number 2, coming on in hot, is my number 2 as well. Challengers.
Yes. So this movie surprised me, just like everyone else. I think that the way that they marketed this movie was completely wrong. I think they focused a lot on that one scene between Zendaya and the 2 actors.
Terrible.
And I think that turned a lot of people off. They thought that was going to be the tone of the movie, that it was going to be super raunchy and whatever. But it did definitely have a very erotic feel, like Robert said earlier. But it didn't cross into like the raunchy whatever people thought it was going to be. So I thought that's probably what a lot of people stayed away from it. And I think this came out after Dune, so a lot of people are a little bit burned by Chani too. So a lot of people go watch it because of that, because of her, which I think is really silly. I actually like Zendaya. She seems like she's really fun in interviews and stuff, and I like her as an actress. So I saw this too, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna see if I like it or not. And it surprised me. Like, I think maybe 20 minutes in, I was like, wow, this is completely not what I thought it was going to be. I like the sequence of the way that they told the story.
Yep.
Because you're kind of starting off at this point where you're like, okay, how did all these people, how do they all know each other, and what's the story that they're all angry with each other? So once they start kind of going through the sequence of telling you, you're like, oh, there was a lot to unpack with like relationship between all three of them. And then what's even more intense is that they break it down with the tennis matches as well. I thought that was so cool and so clever that they did that. That it was like, okay, here's a really intense tennis match, and then we're gonna match it up to what's going on in the story, and it all kind of leads up together. I thought that was so cool. So it just left me super entertained. I think afterwards, I had to text one of my friends immediately because he's into watching a lot of movies and stuff too, and I was like, you need to see this movie. We were totally wrong about it. We thought that it was going to be really stupid, and it's so good. And he ended up watching it too, and he loved it also. It was a surprise. I really love this movie.
I was in shock how much I love this film. These are not likable characters, but that's the whole point. They are all, well, debatable if they're all alphas, but they're all athletes, high caliber athletes that are all about the sport, the hunt, the kill, oh my God, I love this film. It was just so different. And then there's a point of view of the at one time of the tennis ball being hit around.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That was just that was just this nice. There was all these nice little touches in this film. Of course, Trent Reznor's score, R&B.
Oh, I know. I mean, you know what's funny? Quietly, him and Atticus Ross.
Yep.
They've just been. I mean, Atticus Ross did the music for Shogun with another collaborator, not Trent Reznor, but those two guys, man. I mean, I remember their score for The Social Network was the first time I think they worked together. They did the HBO Watchmen series. They kill it, man. I love both Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, whether they're working together or not. But yeah, the score is amazing.
I mean, I have that on repeat on Spotify. It's a fantastic score. I'm a big Mike Feist fan. He was in West Side Story.
Yep.
Just incredible screen presence. They all were. And I actually was very surprised and impressed with Zendaya's acting. I'm not a Zendaya fan. And I was like, and I had that Chani stench on me. I'm like, I'm going to go see this movie. And I was like, okay. You know, she did a really good job. Some scenes were better than others that she did. But again, I've saw it in the theater, and then I've seen it again now on streaming, and really enjoyed it in a kind of sick and twisted way because these are not nice people. So yeah, okay, very good. That is Challengers. Great job there. Had a great list, Miss Lily. Okay, now let's go to D movie. Sing Sing.
Yes. So this is one that I was anticipating, but I didn't think I was going to have the chance to see when I actually did, which was at the Atlanta Film Festival. It was the closing night film, and along with the film, I got a chance to hear from the director, from some of the cast members, not Coleman, because I think he was already on his next film, but a lot of the additional cast members that were a part of the film. And man, this blew me away. And there are a lot of similarities or parallels to this film and my number one choice. But it basically tells the story of this group of incarcerated men who are participating in this rehabilitation through the arts program. And it's about how they, put on plays and put on, these productions on the stage. And what happens when they decide they're going to make their own original play for the stage. And it showcases the relationships, the dynamic, the things that they have experienced, but how creativity and the arts and all those things, something I also relate to, how it transforms their lives and it deepens the bonds and relationships between them, and just how it completely kind of paves the way for their redemption, not just as far as their circumstances, but mentally and emotionally as well. So yeah, this was one that kind of that it's like one of those films that seems like it would be good, but I had no idea it would just blow me away the way that it did. And it's so funny because they just did AMC Screen Unseen and Regal Mystery Monday. Sin saw this as well last night, and she said she basically shared the exact same sentiments, which was surprising because I know Sin, it takes a lot to get her that far in the to be completely down with a film like that. So although I'd already enjoyed it, the fact that she also felt the same way, and the fact that other people are going to see this and hopefully have that same experience, I'm very excited to see about the impact this is going to have, especially considering that this is a real program in the prison system that is being implemented. And I just think that's the real life tie-in is also something really awesome as well.
Mm.
It's a fairly new film. Anyone get a chance to see it yet?
No, I just heard it was great. I've heard the same thing that he just said, that it's supposed to be great. I love men overcoming problems in prison. It's one of those genres I love, like Shawshank Redemption. So, and this is right up my alley. It's Fame meets Shawshank Redemption.
Well, and then last year we were talking about him in Rust. Like, Coleman Domingo is he's on a roll, and this is on my must see. There, I have a lot of films from your list, everyone's list that we're sharing that I need to see. So great. So, and then of course you didn't think it was kind of over sentimental, sappy.
No, I thought it struck the right balance because it's very easy to lean into melodrama, and I'm very big on cheap sentiment and anything that's too syrupy or just feels like it's purposely tugging on heartstrings. But there was something so balanced about the way they handled all of that. Like, it wasn't traumatic, it didn't lean in just into these dark, depressing aspects, but it also, like, within these relationships, you saw something with depth and nuance, but like I said, not like super, cheap sentimentality. It felt very honest as well, which is something I always appreciate in any film.
Let's go to our writers really fast. Their number twos, Rosa Para and Alfredo Galindo. Get this article on the latinoslant.com. Ghostlight from Rosa Para is her number two. The year's most emotionally riveting film. I need to see this movie. I know the setup of it. I need to see this film. And Alfredo's was Dune Part 2 was his number 2. So now let's pick a controversial to this list. Robert Meyer Burnett's Furiosa.
Why are you looking at Robert Meyer Burnett?
Talk to me, R&B.
Okay, look. Say
it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so.
Here's the thing. I'm a huge George Miller fan. The guy reinvented. The man was a doctor. He was an MD. And his first movie out of the box was Mad Max, back in 1979. And I saw it when it first came out. It knocked me out. I took my dad took me. I was like 12. And I loved it. And I've loved Road Warrior was, or as it's known in the rest of the world, Mad Max 2 and Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. And he comes back. He's made, whether it was Witches of Eastwick or whether it was Lorenzo's Oil, which is a terrific movie, actually. I've always loved George Miller. And I thought that while this film had that George Miller sensibility that I really, by the way, this is not my number one movies. I didn't give you my film in any particular order, but I was really excited to see this movie. Is it as good as Fury Road? Probably not.
No,
but it's its own thing.
It's its own thing.
And I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed what it was. Did I like the overuse of CG? No, but I like how gonzo it is. Nobody else would have made this movie except George Miller. And I felt like, look, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It was exactly what I wanted. He talked about how they did so much extensive backstory work when they were making Fury Road that they had this story about Furiosa. and they decided not to deal with this then because it was too much. And so this was something they had come up with 8 years ago. And I think it's a story that he wanted to tell. And I think that, you know, you can object to whether or not he should have told this story, because going into her past and the different meeting of Morton Joe and all that. But I thoroughly enjoyed this film. And it was, you know what it was? It was exactly what I wanted it to be. I didn't go in and I wasn't disappointed. I thought it was weird too. It was just kind of, I mean, when I watched the movie, I was thoroughly entertained. It was the 5th George Miller Mad Max movie, and I was there for it.
Listen, hey,
The
listen.
silence.
No,
I
listen.
know.
That's my voice. That's my voice pick. You know, I don't agree, but we're not here to. We're not. I don't want to get into. You know, it's. We're sharing our lists. Okay. Anyone here on the panel have anything to say in regards to Furiosa?
I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. You can't offend me. Don't worry.
I actually want to see this, and I don't know if it's still in theaters, but I kind of wanted to catch it in the theaters. I mean, he's not wrong. They did tell you that this was a Furiosa movie, so if you were expecting anything different, then that's probably a you problem. So I'm just I'm gonna watch it for what it is. And there's a bunch of action sequences. Everybody said that this was actually surprisingly a very good movie, so I'm not gonna miss out on watching it. And I like Anya Taylor-Joy, so
Yeah, she's great.
Well, I have a question for RBD.
RMB, not RBD.
R&B.
I could be RBD. I can be whatever.
sure.
Isn't that a Mexican group?
Don't forget, this is what happened.
That's RMB.
That's it.
I even know that Mexican group.
Fletcher.
That's hilarious.
You
He just
pulled
called you
from
like a
radio.
Mexican pop band.
You know what? I can be that. I can be all things to all people.
Robert Rebelde.
Rebelde.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
Chris Hemsworth, did the nose play or did the nose did not play for you?
Well, okay, here's the thing.
All right.
Because it's George Miller, and because in this world he messes people up, you know. he likes those deformities, and it worked for me because it was part of the whole overall aesthetic of the film. Now, I can understand it being distracting because we all know what Chris Hemsworth looks like, but it didn't bother me.
Okay.
His nose was the least of my problems with this film. I'm gonna stop.
Please, stop being a hater.
I'm gonna
Was there
stop.
another movie
I'm
with
gonna
the
stop.
nose? What was the one with the
I'm
other
gonna stop.
nose?
Let's read some
Maestro?
comments. No,
There was Maestro, where
Maestro,
Bradley
that's
Cooper
the one.
did
Yeah,
Leonard
we didn't like that
Bernstein's
film.
nose.
You liked it though. You liked it, R&B.
You know what? I have to tell you, I've subsequently come around to hate that movie.
See,
Maybe
give him
you'll
time,
hate it.
Pollock.
Maybe you'll hate Furiosa in a year.
And I only say that because I always
funny.
liked Leonard Bernstein growing up,
Yeah.
and going back after I saw the movie, I liked what he was doing. I liked the filmmaking, but then I went on a Leonard Bernstein jag down on YouTube, and I watched all of these Leonard Bernstein videos. And that man loved music so much, and he loved the art of music so much that I realized it really bothered me that Maestro, you know, it didn't have his love of music in it. And like, look, I get it. I you know, concentrating on his marriage and then his relationships with men and all that, that's fine. But you can't make a movie about Leonard Bernstein and not, I mean, the way he talked about music,
I don't
you
know, Fletcher. This is like a little revisionist.
I know.
History we're doing here.
No,
I mean,
he's taking the Kong gauntlet back. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. Because let me tell you something, R&B. After 5 minutes of that Maestro film, me and Romy just turned it off last year. We were like,
yeah, dude.
It's just showy. It's just showy. And
Yeah.
there's no heart. Like I could see it right away. That technically he was hitting his marks, and he good looking film, but Cooper just there was no like of that, because you see, like you said, you see the Bernstein videos. You're like, oh man, this guy's this.
I mean,
Oh.
he did so much to advance whether he was doing the CBS series, the concert series,
Mhm.
when he was doing the kids stuff, the kids concerts. I mean, he did more, I think, to further classical music education amongst Americans, and that's what I was missing. And I think that will always bother me about the movie. And I thought
That's
Bradley
fair.
Cooper, I didn't see after watching Bernstein, Bradley Cooper is not. He's playing some weird. You know what that movie is like? I'm like, Bradley, is there something you want to tell the world but are afraid to about yourself? Because I'm down with you. I'm down with whatever you want, buddy.
Watch it.
But I just felt like I'm like, where's the love of music? And
Okay.
Bernstein, to watch that man, God, did he love music?
See, you see, Fletcher.
Yeah, that's
Fletcher. I have a
it.
problem with you asking a nose question.
Yeah,
All that.
but just
Sorry.
All this.
I mean, he thought Furiosa, and that was the one thing I was like, why did they do that? But it's like, I know the grotesque part, but I'm like,
Movieman.
did it play? You know, he loves it. So I was like,
D
did it
Movieman.
play for him? You know?
Okay, all right. D Movieman. Furiosa. Any thoughts?
I don't know why you're asking me that because you know my thoughts.
Oh, that's right. We did that panel together. Okay, let's go on.
That's your thought.
Let's go on.
He has-
Let's go on. Love you, R&B. Here we go. Deleted scenes. Remember, 38 months. 38 months. My dude. Hola. Slantino's panel and chat. Here's his. Number 1, Sing Sing. Number 2, Late Night with the Devil. Number 3, The Bike Riders. Number 4, Land of Bad. Number 5, New Life. Number 6, Longlegs. Number 7, In a Violent Nature. Number 8, The Beekeeper. Number 9, Ordinary Angels. And 10, Arthur the King. Nice list, my dude. I need to see Sing Sing and Bike Riders.
You need to see Land of Bad too.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Shanatsky, R&B director Furiosa.
I wish.
Well,
Well, then my career would be over. So maybe I don't. But
The marketing for Furiosa was not well.
neither was the
Well,
box office.
Robert Byer Burnett.
Fletcher. Oh my
R&B
God.
is RDJ confirmed.
What's his birthday? So, you know, you gotta.
Oh my God. All right. Where are we, Fletcher? Where are we?
All right, so I think we're now to the number 1.
No. Did we get our did we do the number 2s of the of our writers? We did.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you yelling at me?
No.
All right. Okay, number 1. Here we go. Let's get some production in here. Number 1. Okay, well, who would like to hit? Go ahead, Lily. Fix your notes. Your notas.
So-
Clear my throat.
Yeah, I gave this movie so much money in IMAX. It's ridiculous. There's no way I couldn't have made it my number 1 because I saw it so many times.
Hilarious.
Mind ass number 3.
Yeah, so I had only read half of the book when the first movie released, and I didn't want to spoil myself for the second half of it. So I went and saw this movie. It was super awesome, and then I finished the book, and then I hated Chani's character so much. But despite what they did with Chani's character, it still wasn't enough for me to hate this movie. I thought what they did was super awesome. It was fantastic, and just all of the visuals. I didn't watch it like on a regular screen, so I have no idea what it looked like. But from other friends who did, they told me that I had actually gone to see it with them in IMAX. They told me that it didn't even compare. If you didn't watch this movie in IMAX, you didn't watch this movie. It was so beautiful, just all of the tones that he set for different scenes. And then the music, oh my goodness. Hans Zimmer is like, he's amazing. All of the music that he composed to go with all of the scenes just added that layer to everything that was going on. And I love that movie. The performances were super great. I know a lot of people are complaining about TV that he wasn't believable as Paul, but Pretty sure that he was described exactly the same way physically in the book. So they actually got that correctly. And I thought he gave a really great performance there at the end where he's actually talking to everybody and he starts giving like his speech. I believed it. I believed in Paul in that moment. I was like, yeah, this is Muad'Dib. I'm like, let's go. Let's do this. Even though I know, we're not supposed to be going to war and starting all this stuff. But I was like, yeah, let's do this, Paul. I'm ready. And then, of course, standout for me was Austin Butler. I have
No, really?
No, it's just I have no idea why he wasn't in it more, because you have this super cool villain who is actually a villain, not like we have them now where they're all sympathetic and they're all nice people and we have to feel sorry for them because they're tragic or whatever. No, he's like straight up a villain. He's a bad guy. And that was so cool. Like that arena scene, oh my gosh. I could just play that over and over and over again, his introduction. It was just so cool. And yeah, I don't know what else I can say about it that everyone else hasn't already said. That's still my number one movie, even though we're already halfway into the year.
R&B. I didn't number these things, but you had this on your list as well.
Yep. I mean, Dune 2, I like my esteemed colleague. I feel that seeing it in IMAX, it was an overwhelming cinematic experience. I mean, isn't that what Lily said? I don't know how many times you went and saw it, Lily. A lot, you said, but I saw it a couple of, I think 3 times in IMAX, and it's why you go to the movies. Mm-hmm. Now, do I think, here's the one thing I would criticize. I've loved both Dune movies, but I would say this: I think they both suffer from it because they have to keep the time down. There's very few scenes of people just interacting with each other, like having conversations. And there's so many great scenes in the book. And I felt this with the first Dune, they're cut to the bone. They're literally the most minimum amount of sequence. You can tell that each one of these scenes between people talking are like 5 times as long as they are in the movie. And they cut them down. And I found that distracting because I've been reading those books, especially the first Dune, I probably read 6 or 7 times throughout my life. And I'm like, the Lynch movie, even though the Lynch movie was an imperfect adaptation, the scenes played out longer. Yeah. So, what, like the Reverend Mother in the beginning in Dune 1, when he puts his hand in the box and she has the Gom Jabbar to his neck, you're like, they barely say anything to one another. And that's my biggest criticism with the Dune movies. And I think like with Chani, at the end of the book, Jessica says to her, we have to act like wives. It's not. I understand. Like I think that people objected to what happened to Chani in the movie, that she took more of a. But you have to make her a more prominent character. She has to have agency, and I think she will come back, and they will play out what happens in Dune Messiah. But it's such an overwhelming cinematic experience. I mean, I was talking about verisimilitude. It's so immersive. When you're watching, it's like they went on location to Arrakis and shot it all. It's got the greatest physical effects and greatest visual effects I think ever done. It's absolutely. I mean, when they go to Gidi Prime and the sun has a different quality of light, so there's no you have color, and then they walk out in the sunlight and the color goes away. I mean, I was like blown away.
Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That movie was just an overwhelming experience.
I think that's what made me the most angry, is that the very last thing that Jessica says to Chani was so powerful, and they robbed us of that scene. And that's my biggest problem with that. And then there's so many scenes that take place between the Harkonnens and the books too, that further show you that these people are just vile and evil.
Thufa Howard's gone from Dune 2.
They should have given us more of that. After I saw what a good job they did with Fade Ralda, I was like, really? We could have had some really cool scenes, more scenes with him and the Baron. Like, really? That made me so mad.
I think it's because it was cut to the bone. I mean, getting rid of Thufa Howard was strange to me.
Yeah, I wanted to see him too. Now I'm really mad. They actually did shoot that.
I know.
Right.
I'm like, but these are, if you make a movie look at the Lord of the Rings movies, they're like the extended cuts are like 4 hours, 4.5 hours. People go to watch them. If you give us a 4-hour movie, we're still gonna go watch it.
Yeah, and Denis Villeneuve like is obstinate about that. He's like, nope, my cut of the movie is my cut of the movie, which I respect. But there's so much there.
Exactly.
So Rosa Parra, this is her number one film of the year still. And what she had to say, theatrical experiences are made possible by movies like Dune 2. The movie is visually, audibly, and overall stunning. The score and sound are immersive, while the visuals are simply a masterful spectacle. There are strong performances all around, along with astonishing costumes and production design. Simply put, it's a perfect film. And she's very much like, she didn't read the books. That's what she's coming. I mean, and this is, and I get it, and I agree with her. It is a stunning film. I just with the books, it's just not a perfect adaptation for me. But it's up there, man. It's up there.
This should have been a trilogy.
What's that?
This should have been a trilogy.
Yeah. D-Man, do you have any words to say about this?
Well, I don't have the adaptation piece of it, but I do think that even though I think this film makes me appreciate aspects of the first one more. I do think that there are elements in the first film that the second one needed, and then vice versa. Like, I think the second one, because there's so much going on, I think it needed some of those slower building moments in the first, and I think the first film needed some more of the intense, in your face kind of, not just action, because I feel like that's simplistic, but I think it needed some. I think each one could have used more of what the other film might have been lacking in, and I think that would have made it more well-rounded. Because even though I enjoyed both, I can definitely see some issues structurally with how they're made, story-wise.
Okay, well, I think we're done with the Dune talk. We do have 3 number ones that are all very different from each other, coming from Alfredo, myself, and then we'll take it to D-Man. Let's go to Alfredo. This is a Mexican film. It's called Totem. It was released in the U.S. This last January. It tells the story of a 7-year-old girl who questions her close relative's actions in the middle of preparations for a surprise birthday for her father. Becoming a darling during the award season. It's nominated for like 15 RAL awards. It's directed by Lila Aviles, called Totem. That's his number one film. It's on my list. So yeah, that's very interesting. My number one film of the year is The Coffee Table. I just said to date there has not been a film this year that has disturbed me as much as director Calle Casa's film The Coffee Table. It's that's misspelled. It's haunting. It's awful. However, the story takes on a new life once an unspeakable accident occurs. There, the lead actors take us on a vast and exhausting emotional journey. Even the comedic moments are drenched in uneasiness. Best of the year so far. Yeah, I've seen it a few times, and I'm just amazed that after this unspeakable accident happens, is really, where does the story go from here? And
that's the feel-good movie this summer, man.
Feel-good movie this summer. It is R&B. I
Take your mom.
I feel bad that I love this movie so much,
dude. You know what? I got to tell you.
Yeah.
So Kino Lorber, I still collect physical media, sent this to me. And it's just the DVD because it's not out on Blu-ray or anything. They sent it to me, and I was like, I didn't quite know what it was. So it was one of those things. I knew nothing about this movie. I didn't look it up.
Mm-hmm.
I just put it on. I knew nothing about it. And after I picked my jaw up off the floor, I'm like, like you, I'm like, what the F?
Yeah.
Like, where's this going? And I just wow. And that's why I say don't read anything about it. You got to go in cold.
Don't
go in cold because I it was one of those. You know, it's what I think with what we do. We're so drenched in trailers and information, and that's why I like going to film festivals and seeing foreign films I know nothing about, because you can be surprised, and there's no preconceived notions. You just let the stories roll over you, and I miss that so much. But Coffee Table, one of those experiences. The Spanish are wacky.
Oh, and Calle or Cayo, I forgot the. Excuse me. Let me get his Calle Casas. He is an odd duck, and thank God for directors like him.
Yeah.
And
Can you imagine pitching this movie to investors? Okay, here's the movie I want to make.
You can't even do the pitch without spoiling it. No. I will say, the female lead, she has this deep voice that even when she laughs, it disturbs me, as well as her other range of her emotions. She's a very odd-looking woman as well. He loves these odd-looking people in his films. I mean, Jesus, this movie did it to me. So that is my number one film, called The Coffee Table so far. Now we have one more from D-Man. What you got, sir?
So another Sundance selection, and this was definitely my number one. I did a ranking video of all 18 films that I saw at the festival, and Daughters came out at number one. It also just so happened to be a film that got an audience award, so that's an award, of course, that the audience votes on, not the jury, and it was chosen as one of their favorites. And so I didn't really know what to expect going in. I just knew that I had, much like Sing Sing, I had reservations, because when it comes to prison stories, I know what that can look like. And I also get scared sometimes when it comes to, when I say Black representation, I know that there are all kinds of stories that are told, but they don't always get told. And even when it comes to the prison dynamic, it looks like Oz or some other variation of that. It's like, I can't really deal with that. So it was really shocking and so I don't even know what the word is, but it blew me away to watch this film, because it's basically about this program where these incarcerated men, they have an opportunity to have a daddy-daughter dance with their daughters. Some of which have not seen their daughters for a long time, and I remember thinking, like, okay, well, how does that work? Suddenly they just throw them in a room and then everything's fine, and it's not. It's about how these men have to undergo life coaching and therapy. Like there are things they have to learn about themselves, about the circumstances that brought them here. We also see how their absence has affected and shaped their daughters. What happens when they finally meet each other at the dance? What happens afterwards? And I think what I also appreciated is that it's not just all sunshine and rainbows. It shows just it shows how everyone has to learn something. Even the men, the women, the mothers of the daughters, they have to learn something about how what they tell their daughters, how that affects them. The daughters have to learn unfortunately, about disappointment, about the reality of the things that have taken their fathers away. The father, like, it's not, there's so many nuances to it, but then it also has an element that speaks about the prison system and how even when there are opportunities to bring these families together in spite of those circumstances, there are rules in place, like no touch systems. You sit behind a screen and you don't even get to physically touch, interact, anything. That's specifically in place. So there's just a lot of commentary, a lot of conversations, just so much depth to it. But I felt like it was so powerful in the way that it showed from so many different perspectives how someone's life can be shaped by those choices. And it managed to be, it was heartbreaking, it was beautiful, it was funny, it was a lot of things. So, and once it was over, I was just like, okay, I can't think of another film this year that's going to surpass this, just as far as the general feeling. The only one that's come close is Sing Sing, but for similar reasons.
Sounds great.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wow. Well, another film to see. Thank you so much, D-Man. You know, R&B, these are great lists that we've got to share with each other and with the audience.
Well, I think it also speaks to the diversity of storytelling. I mean, I think that's what that's what we want out of cinema. I mean, I grew up in Seattle, going to the Seattle International Film Festival, and I was really exposed at a young age to movies from all over the world that I never would have been able to see otherwise. And it really shaped my, as Chris Gore says, media diet. And I think there's so many wonderful films being made around the world. Of all kinds, of all different kinds of movies, and I think people would do well to seek them out.
Yeah.
Maybe not Coffee Table.
Yeah.
But I would tell everybody to watch it.
I'm gonna clip that and send it to the director because that's pretty cool. Lily, your thoughts on list shared, and I mean, and your list, all that stuff. Any closing thoughts?
Just that I have a lot of homework and a lot of movies that I need to watch, and definitely I need to start branching out and finding movies from other countries, because right now I couldn't even fill my list with 10 movies. I had to do 8 because there just wasn't enough that I actually liked that I saw in the theaters or that I got to watch on streaming. So I'm definitely going to watch a lot of the Coffee Table. You guys are like scaring me. I'm gonna watch it, and if it traumatizes me, I'm gonna come after all of you.
Definitely don't watch it with any of your family members.
No. I'm
unless they're they can handle this. Yeah.
No, because I don't even know what it's about. So
yeah.
I'm scared. Yeah.
It's really one of the first times I've ever seen Romy's face like bug out. And she watches true crime every day, like all day. But it's masterfully done. D-Man, what do you think of our list? What do you think of these movies, Mr. Movie Man?
I think there are some really great selections, and as was said, what I love about it is just the subjectivity of everything, and how by sharing and acknowledging that subjectivity and the diversity, you get to also be exposed to certain films. I'm not sure if I would have ever found out anything about the Coffee Table, but now I know that it's something that I'll never forget. So there's just I think that's what I appreciate the most. Just like you don't know until you know. And I think once someone is able to share something that impacted you, whether you feel 100% the same way or not, that's kind of what makes this whole film community go around. So I think that's what I enjoy the most. So I'm glad to hear it.
Let me read some of these comments, and then I have one last question for you guys before we let you guys go. All right. Sandra Hammerstein, despite Dune 2 being good and amazing looking film, it left me wondering a bit whether or not I prefer this Dune or the 1884 Dune, where I think the story is more clear and managed to tell me more. Huh. Are you a big 84 Dune fan, R&B?
I think it's a flawed film, but at the time, it's a compromised vision, but there's a lot to like about it. I think the design of it is really interesting. I like the actors. I mean, the special effects are what they are. But I do like a lot of what's in there. I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
Deleted scenes. Austin Butler steals Dune Part 2. Isn't the Gom Jabbar mystery box? The 1984 Dune score is better, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say that.
No, at all. Sorry.
I mean, listen, if that's what you like, Solomon.
Yeah, but
I can't agree with that. It has its place. I think that movie has its place. I think 84's Dune has its place. The changes made me between the book and the movie downgraded the movie for me, but it was feast for the eyes on IMAX. Absolutely. Rooftop Korean. As a non-book reader, I like both Dune movies. There you go.
Yeah.
Bunny V, Monjumel Boys is not on your list. I'm surprised. I liked Monjumel Boys. I really did like it. It did not hit me as let's say some of the other Indian films that I saw this year. And those made it on my list as far as Avasham and Kill, but Manjumel Boys it's a true story. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I just there's other movies I enjoyed more, especially Brahma Yugam, which is a black and white horror film set in the 1800s. Oh man, that is a wicked film. That is a wicked film. Okay. Sentinel Ranger Donnie says hello to us all. Hope everyone is well despite not winning the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Award. Cosmic Fury. Oh, okay. Did anyone see
Power
Cosmic
Rangers,
Fury?
Cosmic Fury.
Power Rangers? Nope.
I did not. No.
Okay, and finally we did a poll, and here is what it came up with. The movie season so far is the winner with 43%. So looking for suggestions. Well, we gave you a bunch of them, guys. Number 4, movies at home for the win, 30%. Great, only 20%. Bad, only 6%. Okay. All right. I mean, that makes me feel good that guys weren't all gloom and doom. Okay. Cool. Last question to you guys on the panel. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the year? Movies. And who wants to start?
Don't anybody start at once.
I have to think about what's coming out for the rest of the year that I really want to see. I mean, next week we've got Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm more curious about that rather than thinking it's going to be some earth-shatteringly great film.
Joker.
Yet, you know what? I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, that's a good one. Just because I think it's going to be pretty bonkers, and I have to say I'm a huge Gladiator fan, so. How can I not? Even though Maximus isn't in it. Did you see? Okay, I'm gonna admit this. I can't believe I'm gonna say this on a live stream.
And really quickly, yes. Anyone in the chat, what are you looking forward to as well? Please comment.
I mean, I want to see Alien Romulus, just because I mean, I do. Yeah, but
I want to see that now more than ever. I didn't a few months ago.
Have you seen the trailer for Red One?
No.
The Rock movie?
No.
Oh yeah.
It's James Bond meets a Christmas movie.
Really? Okay.
I hate to say it, but I was like, I want to see that.
Okay. All right. Lily?
I think same, but I think Deadpool, Joker 2, and Gladiators, I want to see it to see what they actually pull off with that. It's not because I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to see this movie. But I think Joker 2 is probably the one that I'm looking forward to because, it just looks like it's going to be insane. I want to see that. I'm looking forward to Nosferatu.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Need to
On
see
December,
that one.
on Christmas Day?
Yeah, that one looks like it's going to be so cool. And also Aliens Romulus too. That trailer looks so creepy. I need to see that. And I think that's it.
And Cuckoo, I saw a trailer for Cuckoo in front of Longlegs. I want to see that. And then there's a movie that was I think it was at Cannes called Substance or The Substance that I really want to see.
D-Man.
Yes. So there was a film with Sebastian Stan called A Different Man.
Yeah.
And that was another one. Sundance didn't get to see, but I've been really ready to see that. I just saw a trailer that dropped for it, so I'm intrigued to see like how the story in that is going to play out. I'm also interested in seeing Beetlejuice. Because
Yes, we all are.
Yeah.
New trailer drops, I believe, in a day or two.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I can only imagine what they're going to do with that. And then just as someone who's seen this on the stage and is just as excited to have like a big.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
A big stage adaptation of something. I'm excited for Wicked.
It looks great.
Yeah, I'm really
People are
Say
gonna
louder
defy
again. I think
gravity
we
here.
missed it.
Did I blow you out?
No, say it again. I didn't hear it.
Oh, Wicked.
Oh no.
Oh, it looks so good.
Don't drink water. Don't drink water. What is? Yeah.
Oh no, that's so
That
mean.
comes out along with Gladiator, right? Or
Yep.
which movie does
Same
it come out
date.
with?
Same date. Yeah. So
By the
I
way,
put-
Sing Sing opens August 2nd.
Oh, it's not opened yet. Okay.
No,
Okay.
it opens August, and
Here's- Go ahead.
there's I do want to see as I'm looking for it, I just saw it, and now I've lost it again. Talk
Craven.
amongst yourselves. No. Even though Megalopolis, Coppola's movie.
Oh, yeah. No one's talking about that one.
Yeah. No. It's gonna
Here's
be
my
interesting.
list down here, and I did it according to dates, right? That they come out. Next week, Deadpool, Trap, I think looks
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
like a blast. Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Trap. I'm a big Hartnett fan. I'm rooting for the guy.
Me
This
too.
is his big leading role. You know, I just hope Shamalama Ding Dong doesn't ding dong out. You like that? Florida.
Yeah.
The Room Next Door. That is the first ever Pedro Almodovar film in English that's coming out
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
with Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore.
sign me up.
I'm kind of nervous about that film, but it's Pedro, man. I've been watching this film since I was in college. You know, he introduced me to Antonio Banderas in Spanish. I mean,
Yeah.
and then Penelope Cruz. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. There's another film called Emilia Perez, which is a Cannes Films winner, big Cannes Films winner. Zoe Saldana and Selena Gomez are in it. The setup is Selena's plays the wife of a drug lord who becomes a woman, and it's a musical comedy.
Oh yeah, I've heard. Yeah, this is supposed to be really good.
It's supposed to be really good, and the trailer looks great. I'm very curious about it. It comes out November 13th on Netflix and in movie theaters. Gladiator 2. I don't know why everyone's bugging out over Denzel and Pedro.
Because
These are our
we didn't
biggest
need a
stars.
sequel.
These are our biggest stars, and it's Ridley Scott. Let's have fun. What were we gonna say? I'm sorry, Lily. Go ahead.
I said because they didn't need a sequel to begin with.
Well, I mean, that's a whole different argument. That's Hollywood. Most of what Hollywood puts out, that's why I try to look for these other films. I mean, you can say that with Beetlejuice, with Joker, with Alien.
They're sticking to the tone of their original. I feel like Gladiator 2 is absolutely not.
How
From
come
a
nobody's
teaser?
talking
How did
about
you
the
get-
real sequel that we need?
Are you talking about the trailer?
Yeah, from what I've seen, they're just not setting the tone for the audience. It's just I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the trailer.
Okay. And Nosferatu. I saw that trailer on the big screen. That looks incredible, man.
That looks amazing.
That looks amazing. So, yeah. Any closing thoughts to panel?
And everybody
Just that there's a lot of great. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm gonna semi big you guys. Closing thoughts, Lily.
I don't know. I think I just keep watching movies, guys, because I know a lot of people don't. It's just been making me angry seeing a lot of people in the comments saying that they refuse to go to the movie theaters because Hollywood has burned us too many times. Yes, I know, but sometimes you might be surprised and you might actually find that you're watching a really good movie, and you're gonna miss out on it because you didn't want to watch it in the theater.
D-Man. Movie man, excuse me.
Yes. So I would say, I don't know if this is the plug section or not, but I will say I also do movie reviews, the occasional trailer reaction, and occasional recaps on television shows. And I think what I love about this is that even when I might have some frustrations with maybe some things that I see in Hollywood or type of films, even if we're to use films like Thelma as an example, like films that should get more attention or should be available for people to see, but then people have to drive an hour or two and try to find. But I think that even with those issues, the fact that we are sharing these films and that we are just kind of having these platforms to put them out there and have people, see them for themselves. I think that's something I really appreciate about being a part of this community. So along with uh, possibly checking out my channel, continue just to be open about film, be excited about it, and be excited about sharing. Whether people um, share your same opinions or not, because ultimately this is something that I think has shaped a lot of us in a lot of ways, whether you see it as just entertainment or something deeper. So that is my spiel.
Love it, man. RDB.
Well, no, I mean, I just think that cinema. There's all this talk about there's no good movies anymore. Well, there's great movies coming to us from all over the world. I mean, I think some of the best horror is coming out of Korea. Mm-hmm. Actually, the best of a lot of things are coming out of Korea. And I would just say step outside your comfort zone. There is so much great cinema, and if you can't find anything today, work your way through the AFI list of 100 greatest movies. Go back and watch those films that you haven't seen before, or pick a director, a favorite director of yours, and go back and watch their oeuvre. I always talk about Spike Lee's first feature that I saw, She's Gotta Have It. I was a kid living in Seattle. I knew nothing about what it was like to live in Brooklyn, and here he made a movie about a black woman who had multiple boyfriends, and it was a world I knew nothing about, but I found it incredibly compelling. And suddenly a man I'd never heard of before was on my radar, and his third movie was Do the Right Thing, which is one of the greatest American films of the latter half of the 20th century. So it's always, pick your favorite director and go back and maybe watch things. If you haven't seen Christopher Nolan's first film, Following, go check that out. And do some research, program yourself a film festival, maybe do it by decade and go in and somebody mentioned, I don't know, Lily, somebody mentioned Double Indemnity early on in this podcast.
I read it.
Double Indemnity is the Star Wars of film noir, and go back and check that out. And there's so much great stuff to see that so many people haven't delved into. And I would say do yourself a favor. If you're a movie fan, you have thousands of movies you've never seen that are just waiting for you to experience them.
Absolutely.
Here. Absolutely. And I think you guys, I really agree with everything the panelists said. So you're doing yourself a disservice if you stop watching new films. There's so much good stuff out there, and those channels that you connect with, that you value their reviews, their opinions, that's where you can start. I think the people here on this panel are a great place to start, except for Fletcher. Ho, ho. All right, guys. I think we are going to do a hard out, right, Fletcher?
But first, we want to let you all know about the LatinoSlant.com, where we have fresh new articles every day. And also tomorrow, me and Lily are doing Midnight Sets in Espanol.
Yes. 11:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Central, correct? Thank you, Lily. Lily's burning the midnight oil over there.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys on the panel, members, subscribers, new subscribers. If you're thinking about subscribing, stop thinking, just do it. I have a new Out of the Theater reaction to Twisters that I saw last night. I had a blast. You know, it's nice to see it's nice to see Hollywood when they can flex and entertain. Really nice to see this director too. When they asked the director about Twisters, why didn't you mention climate control or climate change in the film? And he's like, hey man, we just want to entertain you guys.
Yeah.
It's kind of refreshing R&B.
It's true, but I mean, there is extreme weather conditions are
What's in
that's
there?
part of them. Yeah,
it's in there, right? You know, great flick. I recommend that. A lot of fun. All right, everyone. Love the sound effects. Which one?
The shots fired.
Oh yeah, that's production.
Yes.
That is
Yeah, production.
that is. And listen, if you're catching this on the replay, check it all out. I'm probably going to time mark everything, timestamp, which we usually don't do. But let's thank everyone. And everyone on the panel wave as we say adios.
Adios.
Thanks, everybody. Be well.